Leafs sign, then trade Mitch Marner to Vegas. Canada loses in penalties. The Toronto Blue Jays are in first place, and this show might be 4 hours long. Hello and welcome back to The House That Happens. Sponsored by Shoey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke. Voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. It's number 1 in our hearts. The Phoenix rising from the ashes. Give us a like, give us a comment, and please subscribe. It really helps us with the algorithm. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name's Cruz. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How about yourself?
4 hours? That's a lot of compliments you're going to give the Blue Jays today, I'm expecting, because we've had this discussion. You know what I mean? Like, we've got 2 people at the table. One is like plus, one is minus. But we'll get to that later into the day. Most importantly of all, we didn't get a chance to say happy birthday to our American brethren south of the border.
Happy 4th of July.
Can I ask you a question? Why were they all wearing them blue hats yesterday?
Blue hats.
Every team was wearing those blue hats. Didn't you see like the baby blue Blue Jay hats? All over the majors, everybody was wearing the same hat.
It's the 4th of July thing. I thought they did that for Father's Day. The baby blues.
I do, but I don't know. If anyone out there knows, I haven't looked at it. But if I quickly, I'm not going to change it, leave the tennis on. But if you go to the highlights, look at every highlight on baseball. Every team had a version of that hat they all red, white, and blue.
Why don't they all wear red for Canada Day?
This is America, bro. Stop it. We're lucky to get in on this.
Toronto's in Major League Baseball. That's
Last
Canada.
time I checked, they're in first place, America. Deal with that. That's how I look at it.
Well, first in our
doesn't
division,
matter.
But...
It said last time I checked, American League East, first place Toronto Blue Jays. We will get to that.
All right. Mm-hmm. As always, we will.
Wait a sec before we go. How was your week?
Not bad. I had a very short week. I took Monday off. Tuesday was obviously Canada Day, so it was just a small 3-day week, which kind of threw things into a little bit of, not trouble, but, it was a little bit weird because, like, Thursday felt like a Tuesday, it was like that kind of thing.
I only notice when it's a holiday now because every day is a sunny day for me. That's how I look at it. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? Retirement can be good.
I'm guessing you had a good week as well then.
Mm-hmm. Very good week. Of course, the Sluggers had it off because it was Canada Day, but outside it was good.
Also, no Sluggers report this week.
No, not this week. One of the great things about the neighborhood is how people come out and just be jovial on the day. You know what I mean? Like people just saying, hi, how you doing? Happy Canada Day, all that stuff. It's a good community thing. And the beautiful thing is, it's probably a little less prevalent on your street because you live in Little Italy, but it's great when you go down the street and I say walk from here to the store and I talk to, say, 7 couples, probably my age or older. None of them, first language is English, and they're freak flying their Canadian flags and all their stuff. It's just too cool. Too cool. I love it.
That's awesome.
I think some of the most Canadian people right now, and I've argued about this because I'm not going to discuss it now, about why are you proud to be Canadian? Well, I bet you some of the proudest Canadians you'd would be people like your grandparents. They're you know what I mean? That came here to establish whatever values, empathetic views that we have as a great country, inherently Canadian. They represent that more than some of the kids that are growing up now. That's what I've noticed, because we live in a TikTok, fast food, how quick are we going world. People forget to, hey, stop and smell the roses, people. You know what I mean?
Important to stop and smell the roses.
Very much so.
We got some shout-outs this week. Unfortunately, we have a negative one, a sad one at first. R.I.P. to Diego Jota and his brother died in a car crash last Thursday. He was a Portuguese soccer player. Saddened the whole soccer and football community at large.
Played for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was one of the first Portuguese people that was adopted by the Liverpoolians, which is very cool. This stuff always strikes home because we're going to hear it about the news, and then a week later there's something else going to be coming up. But I think the most important thing is to remember this guy had a young family. He finally married his longtime girlfriend, and what I feel for most is his parents. Didn't lose one son, bro. They lost 2. Yeah, God bless them. Sorry to hear this.
The sad reminder of the Johnny Gaudreau story.
Yes. And you know what the thing is? It's when you're young, you're invincible. Did you hear what kind of car he was driving?
I'm guessing it was a nice car.
Lamborghini. Any event, very sad, but we'll keep them close to the vest. And the outpouring in Liverpool, not only in Portugal, but the outpouring in Liverpool was insanely impressive. God bless the young man.
God bless. Also, a shout out to TeachMe.to, a program that has been gaining some attention here in the GTA, allowing students to search for instructors within their area who are offering lessons at different price points and skill levels for sports like tennis, golf, and your favorite pickleball. But I think this is a very cool thing, an accessible way for people to get access to training if they want to get to the next level or just get started.
I like the fact that it gets them off the couch and outside or to the gym or wherever it's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to say this one more time. I don't even like the sound of pickleball when they're playing. I went by a court the other day. I heard the sound. That irritates me. So I don't think you'll ever expect me on a pickleball. But you people out there that think you're going to lose 10 pounds in 10 minutes, get out there and keep swinging.
You need to play pickleball for a little bit more than 10 minutes.
I don't think I'll ever have a pickleball racket in my hand unless I'm suffering from dementia. Is that one of those words we shouldn't use on the algorithm?
No.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure because I say some things they'd say later and I talk to other people. Be careful what you say into the microphone. Big brother is listening. Okay?
The powers that be.
I want to have a huge shout out to Mr. Bob McKenzie, who announced his retirement this week.
Yes.
This is monumental. I don't know if Bob McKenzie is my age, but he's got to be around there. I'm trying to think of my time that I have lived in Toronto. Going back to the Global TV 11:30 when they first started a half-hour program.
Yeah, Bob McCown show.
I can't remember not seeing Bob McKenzie on TV talking about hockey.
Yeah, he was editor-in-chief for the Hockey News for the longest time.
How many articles did you read I used to read the Hockey News quite regularly before internet and all that. How many articles did I read by Bob McKenzie in the Hockey News? Untold.
Yeah. His coverage with TSN for the NHL, the World Juniors, the draft, Free Agent Frenzy and the trade deadline show. That's his baby.
Yeah,
that's his
right.
idea.
He basically created. But you know what I always like about Bob McKenzie? His weird, snide sense of humor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Like, he could say something to another talking head on the palette, and he can just slay them. And unless you're listening to that person, you look, oh, yeah, he just slayed that guy. And his, I've never really heard him say anything bad about a player. However, he will allude to the fact that maybe you should look at this guy a little bit deeper. I always like them, instead of just coming over, this guy's bad at character. Oh, he did this, blah, blah. No, he will just allude to the fact, like, you know what?
There's a more to the story, basically.
Look under a few more stones.
Have you read his book?
No.
It's
maybe
very
I will.
good.
I should.
Hockey Confidential. I have it.
Okay, I should read it. Anyways, huge shout out to Bob McKenzie. I hope he sits by the lake and works on his chip shot towards the green, watches the carp jump out of the water.
Having a margarita by the lake.
Thank you. God bless you, Bob McKenzie. We're going to miss you. I'm sure he'll show up now and again. But
I don't think so. I think this is it.
Wow.
Because he was in partial retirement before. He was only coming out for like free agents in the draft and World Juniors, but now...
Good for him. Good for him. We're going to miss him.
The sunset.
He's one of the guys I was saying with Bob McCown. Oh, I miss him too. But Bob McCown and Bob McKenzie are two of the icons in here. And another guy I really liked who showed up in Overdrive this week, and he shows up once in a while. I always want to know why Jim Taddy got banished to Hamilton.
Well, he works for TSN, but just on the radio side now.
Yeah.
He covers the Leafs and Raptors.
Once upon a time, he was a face.
I remember when he was on Global.
Yes, and then he was, when TSN started, I don't know, I don't want to speculate why, but I've seen him on TV. It's good to see him. Those veterans really paved the way for most of the people we have in Toronto today.
I like Jim Taddy a lot.
Me
too. I have a lot of respect for him.
Me too.
Big shout out to Joey Chestnut winning his 17th mustard belt on Coney Island on the 4th of July. And, of course, the famous Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Guys, what's an adjective for this guy?
No, go right ahead.
I think he's got a gullet the size of a freaking drain pipe. Like, cause that's a sick game when you watch it, dipping it in the water and doing. Oh,
I think
I need a rest when I watch it.
Low key, the lemonade chugging one is more gross.
I agree. That's more pukable.
It's whatever it is. It's more nasty, more disgusting. More whatever.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, in my lifetime, it never entered my mind to involve myself in either one of these adventures. But if you feel like doing it, you call that some form of entertainment, get involved.
Yeah, I remember people saying like, oh, could this be an Olympic sport? Please no. Please, I enjoy the spectacle for that one day. On the most American day, we have the most American sporting contest or whatever you want to call it, but just keep it there.
Okay, there's two things that we're going to have to say right now. They kicked the breakdancing out of the Olympics, right?
That was a one-time thing.
Okay, good. It ain't coming back. So if you had told me 20 years ago, that's going to make the Olympics, stop it. It did. I don't know who makes these rules. The one I'm scared of, those no eating, no drinking in the Olympics. But if that thing that I don't like the sound of when I go past that court ever makes it to the Olympics, it's a sign of the apocalypse.
I think.
Stop it! Don't even. I'm not even saying the sport, but if it gets
Well,
there,
hold on.
it's a sign of the apocalypse.
I think that will be in 20 years, so that will be probably.
Won't it phase
after
out
you're
by
gone.
then?
Huh?
Won't it be phased out?
It's one of the fastest growing sports on earth right now.
People aren't as stupid as you think they are. They are stupid.
Well, the thing is, think about it. It's an easy sport, so like you can like teach it to kids and like just pick it up easily, right?
I'll give it this. People are active. They think they're moving.
There we go.
I seen some pickleball players. They don't move a lot, but they move.
Well, it started off as kind of like a retirement thing, right?
Yeah, but next thing you know, Agassi and Steffi Graf are having a tournament in Vegas. That gets at high price.
And
My buddy,
Bouchard, she's in there too.
With her designer Gucci outfits, which is great. And McEnroe's even jumped on the bandwagon, which I didn't like because I'm a McEnroe guy. But his theory is get people moving. That's his number one. If it gets people, because he says, like, come on. He was kind of like skeptical in the beginning.
Let's be real. Tennis isn't for everybody. I love tennis. I love playing tennis. I love watching tennis.
I do too. My problem with tennis is because of my ambidextrousness, I should have served with my left hand. I should have bowled with my left hand, but I throw with it. So when I played tennis, I never got my serve together. The rallying good. But by the way,
that's my problem with tennis too. Like because of that, I actually have my backhand's better than my forehand.
That's not a bad thing. But I think I told you
this. It screws
this.
up my serve.
I couldn't serve properly at all. But I think I told you this. I'm a left-handed squash player. I played squash for about 30 years. I was dominant on the squash.
Once I interview you, that will be a topic of discussion, believe me.
Oh, yeah. That's people still know me. You know what? It's very interesting as you get older and people are, didn't you used to play squash? Or I seen you play baseball a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's cool.
Any more shout-outs?
I'd like to shout out to Wimbledon. To get their
Wimbledon
to get their shit together when they have this curfew when it's getting dark. Have you heard of some of the ridiculousness this week?
Like how early is the curfew?
Okay, anyway, there's something about England and it's Wimbledon and it's all proper and it's all England.
Oh, like you mean like the grounds?
No, the light starts going down in the dome, so you got to move. So the Fritz, I forget who it was, he tied it he won in 5 sets, but he tied it to go into the 5th set, and the momentum was his, and then they stopped it. He lost his mind. He goes, why are we stopping it now? And the other guy, who was kind of panting, he was kind of looking like, I'm glad we're stopping for kind of trouble. But what really got it was the Ben Shelton match, okay? This guy is like 2 points away, or was it a game? 3 points away from the match. The match!
That's insane.
Okay, so they came out the next day. You know how long they continued that match for?
Like what, 10 minutes?
I think the official time was 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh, my God. Okay, there should be a rule like...
Yes,
at
Wimbledon.
least, like, finish the game you're in or something.
Whatever. It was so weird. Like, I thought the one with Fritz was kind of weird, but I'm saying, okay, because it'll take the set too long. Like, what if you get into one of those hour-and-a-half sets?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. This is Shelton, and you know what he did? He got 2 aces and a volley to win the match. And you know what the girl said to him? Why didn't you do it in 3 aces? Just to be a joke. Because they tried to ask him. He was livid. He's going, where are we going? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So I don't get that.
Well,
but anyway.
the guys who run Wimbledon, guys and gals, I guess, they're like the Wizard of Oz. They just make changes to make it, like, more entertaining and shit, right?
Sometimes.
Like, Djokovic was saying that the balls are, like, fluffier than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, so I heard that, too. Like, but that's all gamemanship, I think. I don't know.
Well, they apparently
they look
the Wimbledon
better on TV.
Well, the Wimbledon board made a conscious decision to make the game slower.
Boo.
It is what it is. It's what they want.
You know what really has changed the game is technology. Because some of the rackets, like, you ever see back in the day when McEnroe would go to the net or Jimmy
tiny,
Guns?
those rackets.
And not only that, they didn't have the torque. So you could go to the net and you have more chances of net play. You don't see the net play like you do back in the day.
No, now it's all like on the baseline.
Yeah, everybody's just firing it away and stuff like that. But don't do that, Wimbledon. That's really, really silly. I'd like another shout out to the Metropolitan Police in my neighborhood for being so good and helping the indigenous people, evacuees that came to my neighborhood to help to accommodate them while they were here. I was very proud that my neighborhood had the opportunity to help Canadians for once.
Yes.
And it worked out for the most part pretty good. But I mean, at times, people come into areas they're not familiar with. Things can happen, and how everything was done cordially, professionally, and nobody had any hassles. Big shout out to our police who get a bad rap for doing things wrong. When they do things right, I think it's really cool.
I'd like to shout out the one that never leaves us, the NFL. We had a big trade this week. Jalen Ramsey going from Miami to Pittsburgh. What did you make of that?
They gave up Mika Fitzpatrick, too, or whatever his name is. So who got the better player?
Well, that's a big question, too, because Fitzpatrick was like kind of a big part of the leadership group of the Steelers. Kind of like he's obviously not as good as he was a few years ago, but like he was kind of like the backbone of that team in a lot of ways. So people are wondering if this is going to upset the apple cart, as it were. I've
heard that, too, but they say Cam Hayward will take care of that. But the bottom line is, do you think that Jalen Ramsey's that much of a better player? Now, they say he's a better lockdown guy, but Minka comes up and stuffs the run better than Jalen as far as I'm concerned. Interesting trade. Obviously, the value was more for Minka because he went to Miami. Pittsburgh got a pick and a player to go with it. So quite interesting, even though I think Jalen's contract was a little bigger, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Weird dealing in the weird.
Well, he's younger, so this is prime money essentially that you're trading for, right?
Exactly.
I got one more shout out. How about you?
I got one more. No, that's it. Oh yeah, I got one more. But go ahead. Maybe it's the same one.
No, it's not. You can go ahead.
We should be very proud of the fact that the biggest contract that was ever put out in the NBA has gone to a Canadian from Hamilton, and he is now the MVP and world champion basketball. Our guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, congratulations. Well-deserved. Well, for putting us on the map.
4 years, $285 million.
And you know what my theory is? See you in Toronto in 4 years.
No chance.
Wait a second. Why didn't he take the 8 year then? You can take the max 8. He didn't take the max 8. Why?
5 is the max in the NBA.
Why do you only take 4?
Because it would have been an option year anyways, and he would have declined to get more money then.
To come to Toronto.
No, to stay in OKC.
I'm starting the bandwagon now that says Shai will say, because OKC is a cool town and a good fan base. But what do we start? What about if we, this is Toronto.
Okay, and he's won a championship in OKC. He's going to win another one there in the next 4 years. He's going to stay. Maybe 2.
Ooh. We'll discuss that when we get to the NBA. Anyway, congratulations, SGA. Great season, great MVP, and a great contract.
And lastly, happy birthday, Mom. July 6th is your birthday. We're going out for dinner this Sunday. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. The 7 of us are going to go. Happy birthday. Love you.
Hey, Mom, I'm just going to put it this way. You have the second greatest birthday of your life because in the future you'll have one better. That's how I like to look at things. But when you're out there with your whole family and you're looking around the table at your kids, just remember you did an outstanding job. Remember that. Dad, too, but happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Great job with the kids.
Anything else?
Nah, let's get on to the most significant thing happening in the world, and I'm going to start with this. I did a little replay on some of our shows just to remember what I, John Alexander, alias Cruz, have said about our Toronto Blue Jays. Okay. And along the way, there seems to be a trail of optimism based on certain players if they performed a certain way. Now, we're not going to talk about starting pitching, okay? Because that was my ace in the hole, okay? However, some of my prognostications indicate that perhaps maybe I had a tiny thread of truth to realize why the Toronto Maple Leafs are first place in the American League
Toronto
East.
Blue Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays. Can I pat myself on the back yet?
No.
Mr. Fool's Gold?
Look at the calendar. What month is it?
I'm just saying.
What's the date on the calendar?
Okay, so let's go back to when we were whining in May, because some of our shows we sounded a little whiny about our Blue Jays in May. Let's cut to the chase,
We had a reason to whine.
Well, we shouldn't. From now on, the House That Happens, we're going to have a rule. We can discuss, debate, but we were whining. Come on. In any event, the evolution of what we said could happen did. Or I'm going to get to this in a second because this is something I have to go stand in the corner for that I can't believe I'm going to have to say this. But the big thing is no Varsho, no Santander. Who else am I missing?
No Santander's a positive, though.
I don't know. But anyways,
have you seen his numbers?
It's just brutal. In any event, what has happened to this team is the Shapiro-Aikens bullshit that they fed to us in the beginning of the year. Go back and hear some of that, and guess what? Some of it makes some sense because you look at the roster and it's obviously performing that way.
What they say that makes sense. They never give you a straight answer. How can you say that?
Internal improvement. That was their thing. And what did we get? Internal improvement.
Is this sustainable, though?
I'm not talking about sustainability right now. I'm talking
Then what
about
the hell are we talking about?
the 2025 season when the American League is wide open.
I'm talking about sustainable down the stretch.
I think if it's sustainable till October, I'll start with that. I ain't
That's
looking
the question.
Well, if you look around, and we're going to get to it, especially because we're going to talk about the American League Central today. If you look around what we're doing here, though, I'm going to go this. There's two reasons for this. The internal stuff that we've talked about is there, whatever the case may be. But I've also said back in the day that I thought that Don Mattingly should have had more chirping to these guys about how they're hitting. Because if you've seen Don Mattingly in his prime, it was all about making contact. I've noticed a lot of these guys, if you can go somewhere on YouTube or somewhere and go back and take a look at Mattingly's bat going through the strike zone, I've seen Clase, Lucas, Straw, Clement. Who am I missing?
Well, I think you're burying the lead with the hitting.
What's that?
I think you're burying the lead.
With the hitting?
Yeah.
In what respect?
They're not chasing. That's number one.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Make contact first, which is going against the...
Well, no, but this is different, though. It's not just making contact. This is like not going after pitches. Like, don't be stupid.
And don't swing for the fences. Who cares about your exit velo? Who cares? How many games this year that the Blue Jays scratched their way to a win? Hit
oh my God,
a walk,
just about
double.
every win.
Okay, so and they're not leading the league in any power numbers, but they're not the worst either. And they're getting it around the ring. And the two guys, and I went back and checked on, who have come through for me are Clement and Barger. And think about this.
Yes.
Barger didn't even break camp with the team. Because he had such a shitty camp. And then I'm looking at my prediction then going, these two guys, if they rise up, they're going to do something. And all of a sudden it breaks camp. And Barger's not on the roster. Go, Cruz. It's going to be a bad take, bro. What about now?
I like Barger a lot. He should be the number 4 hitter just for the rest of the season.
No, he's not. He's not effective enough against lefties. He swings too many bad pitches.
Where do you think he should be then?
I think that 5th or 2nd. All depends who else is in the lineup. You know what I mean? 2nd's too dangerous because his swing's too crazy. But then again, you put Springer 2nd, and his swing's too crazy too. So who do we put 2nd?
Oh, I think Springer should be back to leadoff.
You are completely out of your mind. He's in a comfort zone. Why would you He's in a comfort zone. You're going
to batted second last night. He did okay.
What's that?
He batted second last night.
Second, I said second.
Okay, it's one away. You could bat second. You could bat first.
Listen, Moani, I got a lot to deal with you. We're not putting Springer back in the lead opposition. No.
Our best hitter
at the moment.
For 3 months. Okay, so if you're talking about this stuff with the Jays, but like Springer all of a sudden, like, no, we can't take that.
Okay, wait. Let's get back here. We were all skeptical of Springer. Going into the season.
He's proving us wrong.
Thank you very much.
Having his best season as a Blue Jay.
Oh, by far. And not only that, his contribution in the dugout is immeasurable, they are saying, especially with all these young guys. Because here's another thing we're not talking about Springer, and we'll get back to his hitting in a second here, is Springer did win a Gold Glove in the outfield, didn't he?
He did.
Sometimes he's DHing because we got 3 gazelles out there that can catch balls, which is another cool thing and concentrate on his game. But I think the number one thing with him is he's shortened his swing, and he's the position he's in, he's more comfortable. There's no pressure. Might as well leave Bo there now in case we trade him at the deadline. Leave him out there.
Well, I don't think you're going to get much for Bo at the deadline.
Then let's re-sign him now and get it over with.
No, don't re-sign him. Let him walk.
Oh, wow. You're one of those guys. That's why Marner's
average ball player, not worth the money.
Look at his numbers.
Average.
250. You wouldn't give him 250?
No.
Wow. Someone is. But anyway, let's get
below average defense at shortstop. No, thank you.
We'll get to him. Let's get back to Springer. First of all, we at the House That Happened, we are very happy for the resurgence of one George Springer. But I do not believe...
In his second last year of his contract, of all things.
There you go. So have a better one next year. The bottom line is, no, don't put him back in leadoff. You know what I mean? He's good at 5th. You know what I'm saying?
No, he protected disagree.
Kirk. So why would you put him leadoff? Like so he hit a leadoff home run. How many 3-run homers has he gotten? How many 2-run homers has he gotten in the count going there? Because the guy's getting a base in front of him. I would say number 2. I like him at number 2, but no, I think that he's found his niche.
So you want leading off, Bo?
For the rest, what other option?
Bo's horrible in that spot, though.
Okay. Anyway, what really surprised me the other night is that Luke's guy.
Lucas.
He started off. He was first time at leadoff in Jays. He went 3 for 5. Disciplined hitter. I think that's the main reason he went up there. He's very disciplined. He looks like a disciple of the Mattingly swing. That could be just me. I haven't heard anybody talking about it, but...
Well, the one thing about the Jays offense, it does look like that's finally coming together. I think left field is still something that they got to figure out. But, I mean, you got the Gazelle there, but, like, in terms of bat...
Okay, so...
Like whether it's Rodin, whether it's Clase, or whether it's... who am I missing? Straw.
Okay, you know what the great thing is? Straw can play center field. He bad played a ball the other night for the
I don't
first
like
time. Cut him out.
either of their bats that much, though.
Okay, so keep them down in the 7th, 8th, or 9th, we are the best 7th, 8th, or 9th hitting team in baseball. You know that? We are the Milani, did you hear what I just said? You got to put some respect behind that. Number 1, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
I don't know how,
because
you look at these guys' numbers and
that just tells you how bad the hitting is in the American League. That tells me if you want to say anything. But we are the number 1, not most production from 7th, 8th, or 9th, I think in the majors. Or number 2, I think the Dodgers are ahead of us. But look at their hot streak compared to ours. You know. But that's a huge thing. Because remember, what was I crying every time? Give us 3% more offense. I tried 5. Now we got 40. We got 40. What we should be at more percent. I was asking for 3 to 5% more offense. What we got? About 40% more.
Not sustainable.
Wait a second here, Mr. Fool's Goal again. We're platooning guys, which I mentioned. So I'll give Schneider that. Remember, some guys come in here, some guys, and I said, maybe we should do a little bit more platooning. Guess what? They're doing a little bit more platooning. So here's where I failed in all of this. I said, if we would do that, then our starting pitching is good enough to take us home. Our
starting pitching is a position of strength, though, I think.
Compared to the last year, if we had the same numbers of last year's starting pitchers with this batting last year, we'd be 10 games up in first place.
Well, we're 2 right now.
What? We're 2 now, but we'd be
so
up
you're
by
burying
10.
the lead there because you didn't even mention that to start the segment.
Okay.
Jays are 2 games up on the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. So the Jays last weekend, we beat the Red Sox 2-1. And gained the 5-3 winner in the rubber match. Barger and Vladdy both had home runs in that one. And then, of course, this week the Jays swept the Yankees in 4 games. The first time they've done that at Rogers Center, taking control of the AL East. Scherzer, solid 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks in the opener of that one was a 5-4 win. Vladdy was 2 for 4 with the double and 3 RBIs. Jays reinstated Jimmy Garcia.
Whoops.
What do you mean? Because he allowed the
so what?
One to yeah,
Continue. I keep killing the lead.
And then, of course, last night, the Jays winning on a walk-off in the 10th inning against the Angels. Clement getting the winner on a sac bunt that led to a throwing error into the winning run.
He threw it at Geddy Lee, I think. Oh, no, he threw it down the first baseline. Yeah, I didn't mean to kill the lead there. I'm just so excited about the Jays as they are and all, the prospect of us getting there. Now, look at last night, though. All those guys, another thing about the Jays, too, is that we are a station-to-station team. Like, you know, all the base running blunders that we used to have and all the stupidity that we'd see going on out there, we're very tight now. Like, something's gone on internally on the bench. I don't know who's doing this.
Whoever's the base running coach.
Yeah, and not only that, situationally, we do things. Now, sometimes we get thrown out with a guy stealing at the wrong time, or you know what I mean, or a guy coming home and the infielder throws him out at the plate. But I think those aggressive plays are showing you that we're out there to win. You know what I mean? Instead of just sitting back and wait and see what's happening. That's what I'm kind of thinking. But in any event, I am a little concerned about our pitching. However, Lauer last night went out again and gave us, 6 1/3 last night?
6 innings.
6 innings last night. That's good. He's got to be there. And we're going to have to see what Scherzer's going to do, because if he gives us 5 and 2 or 3 every time.
And we got Gausman on Sunday.
Yes, we do. However, I just want to say this one more time. Am I going to continue? I don't know what it sounds like when I talk about Chris Bassett. I don't want to sound bad about the guy, because everything about
leads the team in wins.
Oh, you're killing me.
Your favorite stat.
You're killing me. Okay, that's good. That means he's showing up. But I just say this about the guy. If you watched the game the other night that he pitched, everything good and bad about this guy was on display. However, I will give him that character thing where he dug in deep and did throw 106 pitches, considering his pitch count in the previous one was about 40 and he didn't get out of the second inning. So the guy had a little juice in his arm. But what is he doing in those first 2 innings if he doesn't get out of them? You just see it unravel. If it goes this way, we're good. If it goes that way, you go, oh, my God. Look at it. And then Kurt having to call timeout, because if we don't, we're going to get the pitch clock violation. And then he's sitting on the mound going, but I got 9 pitches. Yeah, well, 2 of them are going for souvenirs, buddy, so don't use them tonight. Isn't it that simple? Isn't pitching that simple for a brainiac like Bassett?
I don't think pitching is that simple.
Throw it across the plate. Let's see what happens.
In a world of guys who are just throwing as hard as they can, he's a good pitcher. So
I'm saying he's above average. I'm saying he's above average, but
I think you're beating up on him in his worst season as a Blue Jay. He's been much better than this his previous 2 years.
Okay, I'm saying that, but what is it now? Is it the velocity down, or is he taking too many pitches? Because when he uses 2 or 3 pitches and he's on, especially when he's pitching inside, he's tough as nails. But then all of a sudden you'll throw that Scroogey and some kid in the left field is throwing it back on the dome floor because it's a souvenir. I don't understand it. But the same thing as when we talk about Gozman. That hitch sometimes you can tell like, oh, there comes a slider. I don't think he means to, but I've been really watching him closely. Mm-hmm. And, he does that. And there's a couple other pitchers around the league do the same thing. If they guess the right hook on his leg, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you look around the league, and we're going to get to that, we got Barrios, we got Gozman, and they got Bassett. And the best thing about them is this, availability.
And we're looking to trade for another pitcher, apparently.
Oh, so, we're going to be a buyer for sure.
Like they did with the Barrios deal a few years ago. Trade for a guy with some team control.
Everybody's looking for that guy, by the way.
And the Jays are linked to just about every starting pitcher that's available in the entire majors.
And a couple in Venezuela and a couple in Japan. So, that's just how it's going to go. However, we should be exceedingly happy about all that. Like, we go back and listen to some of our May shows. What were we crying about? Oh, my God, what if it gets to August and the games don't matter? Now we're first place on
and Mayo's looking like that.
Yeah, but it was a little bit early. We
still,
you know what? And you know what? The pitching was better back then too from the starters that held us in there. We weren't hitting yet some of those
and
wins.
Some of the relievers as well.
Yeah, well, maybe we wore their arms out, but that's around the league because I'm still not saying that Hoffman is the guy.
Definitely not.
When he comes out,
but like you said in our meeting, who's got a closer except nobody?
Pretty good. Now, I'm not going to blame Garcia to come in. Now, I will say this. I heard someone say on MLB Network, they said they think they like Garcia, and they said he could be an alternative guy for the high-end situations when on the off days. If they can learn to use Garcia and Hoffman, it could be like a committee type thing. However, what they were saying is that sometimes you make a mistake where a guy, he's been on the DL or IL, he comes back, and the first thing you do is you put him in the highest leverage situation you possibly can. He's pumped. He's over. I'm going to throw this fastball right by the guy. The other guy goes, I wonder if he's going to throw that fastball right by me. What happened? Yard. Sometimes they say it's better to give the guy one chance.
You're talking about the Aaron Judge one, right?
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. I think that's actually a good managerial move by John Schneider, showing Garcia like, hey, you're
go
back.
Get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Go get him. But I think that everyone, should that have been his first batter? That's Aaron Judge. That's not Andrew Milani.
Well, it's baseball. The game comes to you. You don't get to decide. It's like you
agree.
plan God laughs,
him.
right? You plan God laughs.
I got you. You could. They could have walked him. However, I think that you can't walk him forever because I think in the whole 4-game series, how many times did we get Judge out? Twice?
Something like that. They walked him a lot.
Yeah, and then when he did get on it, he hit it. But I was at first when I seen Garcia come out to pitch, I said, hey, okay, mano to mano, let's go. But Judge is so goddamn hot. Boom, away it went. And then I thought about it. Maybe they should have. I don't mind you challenging. You're at home in front of the crowd. Third game. You're winning.
Pick your spots, right?
Yeah, okay. It was a time to do it. But maybe it should have been another pitcher. And the next time it should have been Garcia. But I think he's going to be fine for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think people are making so much ado about nothing over here.
Really?
For now, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
If
stuff like this continues to happen, okay, maybe. But I think that was just one thing like Garcia, especially since he was coming off the IL.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I thought that sometimes that maybe what they should have done is, in my theory, is like, could they have done another situation? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But, I think I'm glad he's back in there. The great thing we have about the Jays right now, when you think about it, is that Santander and Varsho are coming back. Okay?
I don't think Santander coming back is that good of a thing.
I'm not saying it is.
I'll take Varsho's glove in his power, so.
Okay, well, you know what?
He'd be a great number
power?
7.
What power? He's early in the year. We got it. I want to see when he comes back if he's going to continue.
I think he'd be a good number 7 hitter for this team.
Okay, at least you're not going to put him in the leadoff.
No.
Okay.
I thought of you last night when Jimenez was in the leadoff spot.
Oh, yeah. Did you feel the cringe?
Yeah.
He got injured though, didn't he?
I was like, I feel a tremor in the force.
Oh God, it was just there. But you know what? That at this point in time, at home, first place in the league. He had a couple big hits lately. So what do you do? Okay, but what is it? This is a confidence booster.
Yeah.
So it's a good move by the manager. I didn't like it personally. I know, leave you at 9. Hey, it's like when I play for the Sluggers, I know when they pencil me in, who's last, Cruz. Okay, so let's, and I live with that. And I live within my means. But when you talk about a guy like that, I don't know, it was kind of sketchy at the time. I think we just leave Bo there. Bo's not having a bad year.
I'd rather have Clement leading off than Bo.
Interesting. I thought about that too. But he's, you know, one thing about Clement is though he does so many things with the bat. Like he can walk now. He can play a bunt down. He does a variety of things.
Isn't that a good guy to have in the leadoff spot?
Sometimes I think it's deeper in the lineup for the situation. But then again, how many times do you lead off in the game is the old question. Right?
Once, really. You're only guaranteed to have it once.
That's right. It may happen more, but I don't know. I think that Bo should stay there. If you look at Bo's numbers, they're not that bad, bro.
They're not that great either.
Oh, I know you're a big OPS guy. He's pushing 8. If he gets over 8, we're good. He's got what? 12 homers, almost 50 ribbies, hitting 270. Solid D, nothing great.
734 OPS.
It just went down. It
It
was 764 last week.
Vlad is 80 points higher than him in OPS.
Okay, I got that. But then again, Vlad's got a contract that says that he should be doing that. Bichette's sitting on the fence. Or the Jays are sitting on the fence.
Then play for the contract.
I think that Bo is, but I think he's having a solid year. I think he's going to get the money that he deserves.
Average ball player.
Okay, give him average money.
He's not going to take average money.
Okay, so here's my scenario. Okay, Bo. Here's $250 million, and you're going to second base.
He's going to say no.
Bye. That's just the way it's got to be then. In my opinion, that's what I'm
glad we agree.
Shakins or Shapiro, I would say, okay, buddy, here's the deal.
Don't forget he was never their guy either. They
I
didn't
know
want to
that.
draft him. Yeah.
I know. I understand that. But now that he's here, he's a serviceable player. I think he's a bit above average, really. I watch a lot of baseball lately, and
not that much above average. I think we're like grasping at straws there.
12 homers and 50 ribbies would be good in anybody's lineup in the major leagues right now.
How about his defense?
His defense is he's a third line center. Okay, how's that? Is that a good analogy?
I don't know. I like my third line centers to be better defensively.
Oh, well, still, he's not a fourth line center, but he's like a third line center. Okay, that's the best analogy I can think of. I think that, you know, he's still so young. He's only 25, 26 years old. Do you bury a guy like that? For example, what if you do that? What about the guy we'll talk about on the Tigers? He's 29 now. But they hung in with one of the guys. They hung in with the guy. Is it No, not Torkelson, the other guy. Carpenter, one of the guys. I got it written down when we get to the notes. But they hung on to the guy like he was so, and he finally breaks out. But is this his one season? He's done. But we'll get to that later. The bottom line is I think Bo should stay with the team. I think he's a solid guy. But you know what?
Well, a minute ago you were just saying let him go.
No, if I'm going to tell him, here's the options. We'll give you $250 over 8.
To move to second base, he's going to say no way.
You might not get there anyone else. And how many other teams around the major are going to put Bo at shortstop?
Apparently the Dodgers.
Come on. Why? Because of Mookie? Get him out of there with less wear and tear?
Maybe. I can see that.
Oh, if he goes to the Dodgers, he's going to be a 3,100 guy. Easy. Look at his protection in the lineup. He'll be 30-100.
He'll be hitting lower in the order too, which I think is better for him.
Yeah, less pressure on the guy, and he's got a great swing. I don't know. I always thought that guys can improve defensively, but I've watched Bo for the last 3 years, and I think he's reached his shortstop ceiling. If this is it, you know what I mean?
I agree.
No disrespect, but so why not just play second base? I don't get it. Because we never had a shortstop at the time. Remember when we stuck him there? We had no serviceable guy to play short. Bo, can you play short for a while? Now it's turned into this. You should have said, hey, when we get Batman back, Robin, move over. But we didn't. No. And then Bo had a couple of pretty damn good seasons. He went to the All-Star game, and then his hair was long, and the girls started cheering for him, and the rest is he went on with, what's his name, Ibaka's cooking show with the tennis girl, and everything was wonderful. So what happened?
What happened is he reached his ceiling.
Okay, is he a viable piece of the offense to get us to October?
Well, I mean, objectively, yeah, he is one of the better bats in the lineup.
Okay, so that's now we're saying.
That's why I'm saying let it ride. Just keep him, don't trade him.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna look at it this way. Your big thing is sustainability, Mr. Fool's Gold. Okay, so since you're already throwing that out there, I'm more of the optimistic, and I'm saying the glass is half full. So in order for us to maintain that position, we should keep Bo. Now, a lot of critics are going to say,
agreed.
In the biggest series of the year, he wasn't there for the 4-game sweep. So you got his distractors.
I'm not going to go there.
Oh, good. Because a lot of his distractors said, biggest game of the year and biggest series of the year, and Bo couldn't make it. Now he's ready by last game. That could have happened to anybody.
Is he the Mitch Marner of this team?
I'm gonna they're starting. You smelled where I was going, right? Doesn't it smell that way? There's a certain stench about both of them that are starting to go, I don't know, man, but he's a serviceable guy. So when you go around the lineup right now, Kirk is unbelievable. Remember we were worried about him? Great. Barger has been the breakout guy that I was hoping for. Clements improved vastly, and his defense is, when he made the error the other night, I was shocked. Mm-hmm. But every guy makes an error. So we're good for another 70 games with that guy. You know what I mean? But really impresses me. You get that. And Hyman, or whatever his name is, coming in for Kurt, so Kirk can DH some days. He's still solid defensively, and he swings a little bat, so we're not losing. Because when you put the combined catching production together of, what's his name, Hyman, right?
Heineman.
You put Hyman and Kurt's production together, and you look at the catcher, because everyone around the league says, what is your production at the catcher spot? It's significant for every team. We're top 5 in the majors.
And both those guys give you plus defense, too.
And both guys give you, their defensive metrics are top 10 in majors. So the catching's been good. Vladdy's Vladdy at first. His defense is better than it's been. He's improved on defense. He's
Vladdy could be my first baseman any day.
All day
honestly,
long.
Like, I would even say, like, on days where, like, you need a guy to play third, I'd put him there, no problem.
Oh, I'd put him there too either. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem because he's got the gun arm.
Yeah.
He's still got the gun for an arm. So we're not worried about him. So that's what I was meant to bring up about Bo's ceiling as a defensively. Has he reached his ceiling? Now, Guerrero won a Gold Glove as a first baseman, and what did we say? He's playing better now than he did his Gold Glove year.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So that's interesting. Second base, Jimenez hit 9 forever. Thanks for hitting lead off the other night, but his defense is solid because a lot of our guys throw ground balls. We got a lot of ground ball, which is good at the Dome.
You need guys that can turn a double play.
And you got to do it, right? And Bo's good on the double play. Okay, that's his forte. Like if it goes to if Jimenez is setting him up for the double play, Bo looks like freaking, I don't know.
Wow.
He looks like Hyman getting assists from
I was going to say, if you're being set up by McDavid on the doorstep.
That's what I'm saying. So it looks good there. At third base, I don't know what we're doing, but who cares? Because everybody can play there, and we'll get production out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Clement and Barger really like
well, we don't have to worry about it. And our third base production is top 10 in the league, too, depending on who they're. But they just look at the metric, like how many times does the third base position get up? And what is the production? So we're good there. And my number one thing to say about the Jays is our outfield defense is just, with no Varsho, look at our outfield defense. It's freaking, the other night when Straw misjudged one ball, it was like Clement making that. Okay, you do them once in a while, but good. For the next 50 games, they're good. They track down balls. They all got arms.
And speaking of outfielders, we got to give a big shout out to Kevin Pillar, who just announced his retirement.
Very much so. Spider-Man at the Dome.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had an interesting comment about the Texas Rangers where he said, I thought they'd be a tighter group.
Ooh.
I thought that was interesting.
Ooh. But you know what? They got a team that's, when you look at all the players, they're on separation. I wish we'd have mentioned that more when we were talking about the West last year, because Texas is an interesting
Last
team.
week, you mean?
Yeah, last week. They're an interesting team, but let's not regress.
No. So a couple other things around Major League Baseball. So we had the All-Star starters get announced this week. The vote is finally completed. For the American League, at catcher, we got Kyle Rowley of Seattle. First base, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Jays. Second base is Gleyber Torres from Detroit. At shortstop, Jacob Wilson from the Athletics. At third base, Jose Ramirez. Yep.
Rookie.
At third base, Jose Ramirez from Cleveland. DH, Ryan O'Hearn from Baltimore. And then in the outfield, Aaron Judge of the Yankees. Riley Green of the Tigers, and Javi Baez of the Tigers. So Detroit getting 3 people in the starting lineup.
That tells you how many fans are showing up at Comerica and how much, like that tells you Detroit City, when they're winning, they're paying attention because they got to vote, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to
fan
Detroit.
vote.
We go later. You're going to go tell us about the National League?
Yes. So at catcher, we have Will Smith of the Dodgers. At first base, Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers. Second base, we have Starling Marte of Arizona. Shortstop, Francisco Lindor of the Mets. At third base, Manny Machado of the Padres. At DH, Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers. In the outfield, we have Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves. And then 2 players from the Cubs in the outfield, Pete Crow Armstrong and Justin Tucker. Or Kyle Tucker, excuse me.
Who was the first baseman again?
Freeman.
Oh, yeah, Freeman. He beat out Bryce. Yeah, but Bryce had the injury problems this year.
Well, it's a popularity contest.
Oh,
but I mean,
always.
I would say this year the fans
pretty
got it
solid,
right.
Yeah. Like all the way, especially with the kid at second base from the Athletics who's shortstop. Yeah, the kid from there. What's his name again? I forget.
Jacob Wilson.
Jacob Wilson, probably rookie of the year.
Yeah, I
And
would
to be
think
able
so.
to reckon I'm being buried in Sacramento in a half-beat park.
The homeless A's.
Yes, the homeless A's, yeah, but and they're not going anywhere too bad. But they got a couple guys in their team that are going to be looked at. You know what I'm saying? And they're in the opportunity. They got a couple pitchers that are young, that are not young, but they got a couple guys that are in the Barrios, Bassett kind of situation that the Jays could probably top on their door. But what are we going to give away? But that's a story for another day.
Apparently, the Jays farm system is a little stronger than
we expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll see. For All-Stars, I imagine Kirk and Springer are going to get the call for the Blue Jays as well.
No, I don't think Springer's going to get it.
What?
No,
he's got to be there.
We're the first place team. We're a first place team. But there's a lot of guys that have had resurgences. If you look around the league, someone's going to get.
So what other outfielders are going to be named?
Give me a second. Steve Kwan from Cleveland.
He's not having that good of a year, though.
One of the best leadoff guys in baseball.
His numbers aren't that good.
Corbin Carroll would have been there, except that he's injured.
He's National League, though.
Oh, American League. Let me just give me a second. Raphael, the center fielder for Boston's got to get some credit because his offense is okay, but he's the best center fielder in the fucking league by none.
Okay, that's one.
Let me think about it. The other guy from Detroit might get called over too. The other outfielder, not Riley Green. What's the other? Is this Carpenter? We'll get to it. Look on there. That's another guy out there. Who's the guy playing on? There's a fielder on Houston that's got some numbers. Young guy. Because Houston just blows me away. I'm looking at them and going, they might win the division. They're World Series contender. Yeah. I don't even get it, but that's another story. I'd have to really look down with the numbers. I should look at the stats is what I should do.
I know Houston's best hitters are all infielders, though.
Okay, I'm going to do this for a minute here. Am I going to get to what it is? In any event.
No, come on. Springer's got to be in the All-Star game. And Schneider getting some Manager of the Year buzz now, too.
Oh, he has to. He's made some very clever moves at the right times. He's made some weird ones, too. But the bottom line is when you're a first-place team in baseball, at going into the All-Star break, your credibility or your fact, all we can do is blow it now. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
That's all we can do is blow it, but let's not go there.
So I guess it's time to move to our, of course, we're spotlighting different divisions around Major League Baseball. No,
we'll end it I think maybe we call it backdoor sliders to end that thing.
Okay.
Backdoor sliders and a couple things. Okay, continue, sorry.
So we are doing a spotlight on all the divisions in Major League Baseball as we approach the Midsummer Classic. This week we're focusing on both Central divisions, the AL Central and the NL Central. You want to start AL or NL?
Let's start with the NL.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So right now in first place is the Chicago Cubs. Great hitting lineup, production up and down. They need to keep Tucker, in my opinion. The rotation is a bit unbalanced, but they have a good bullpen.
Okay, so anyways, you got to look at them before the season. They had a nice run last year, and so they were actually one of the preseason faves to win this year to win their division. I think that their rotation is consistent because they're kind of like us in the middle. Like they got the Matthew Boyd, Talion, and that Brown guy. Okay, they're all like our Barrios.
And me and you both picked the Cubs to win the division this year.
Okay, so
I picked them last year too. Didn't quite work out.
Okay, so I think they're going to be there. Okay, then you got to look around. Did you see this Cade Horton guy? Where did he come from? He's having a breakout season, but I think what happens is that when you put a guy like Kyle Tucker into the lineup, not only does he get protected, but he picks up the other guys. You know what I mean? When you got just like Judge in the lineup, do you think that they're going to be able to sign him in the offseason?
I mean, they should.
They got the money.
Exactly.
And he's there. Now, here's the big thing about them. He's the best. Kyle Tucker's the best pickup in a contract year in baseball this year, bar none. You know what I'm saying?
In a few years, I'd say.
Yeah, okay, maybe in a few years, yeah. But he just right place, right time, right age. All they going there. But here's what's really crazy about Chicago. You see their run differential?
It's over 100.
Over 100. So
yeah, 117. They are with a 53-35 record, first in the National League East. 475 runs scored, 358 against. Those are very solid numbers.
No kidding. And you know what? They solidified their lineup because two guys that they developed, that Suzuki guy in the outfield and Peter Crow Armstrong, who is an all-star selection, well-deserved. Like if you look at their numbers from the last 2 years and coming on, they're having breakout years. Like they had solid years last year. Like they were like, say, 20-80 guys. Now they're going to be 30 to 100 guys, and they both play defense. So these are huge breakout. You know what I'm saying? I'm very, very impressed with that.
They got Dansby Swanson at shortstop.
Yes, exactly. And what did I got a couple notes here about them that really did. I think they can hold on to the division. But who is going to be their closer? They
have a solid bullpen, though.
They have a solid bullpen, and they have a lot of, what do you say? They got a lot of guys that do that hold thing, so they're kind of doing it by committee, okay? But their defensive metrics are excellent. They got the all-star starters. I'm saying as long as their rotation can hold up, I think they'll be able to win the division. But look who's crawling on their back, because if you look at that division, there's only 5 games separating, or 4 in the loss column, from Cincinnati to them. And if you put Mets in there for the wild card.
Well, it's okay. So it's 4 games. They're 4 games up on the Brewers, 6.5 on St. Louis, and then 7 games on Cincinnati.
That's right, because those 2 guys lost since I did my notes last night, right? Were they that far up? What about the loss column? Let me take a look at the loss column here.
Basically the same.
Okay, so is it?
Yeah.
So
there's 7 games up on the loss column of St. Louis and Cincinnati, and they're 4 games up on the loss column on the Brewers.
The Brewers are the ones they got to worry about in a minute here, but they have to win the division because I don't think they want to get into that wild card nonsense.
No.
You know what I mean?
Although the way it stands, 2 teams from this division could make it into the playoffs. They could knock out one of those West teams.
Certainly can, but that's a story for another day because it's getting real crazy. You see the wild card too? Wild card standing in the National League, there's like 6 games difference for like 6 teams. Look at the wild card standings. It's just insane. So all these teams in the Central Division.
I mean, there's 3 teams that are basically like knocking on the door. But then like after that, like the Cardinals are like 4.5 games back. They're falling out.
I think the Cardinals will, but we'll get to them in
a
a second.
Diamondbacks, excuse me, are falling.
Oh, they're
falling back.
They were one of my picks to make a resurgence. They're done with injuries and shit, but we'll get to that later. In any event, I still think that they're going to pull it out.
I think so too.
I think they're going to pull it out. And so I'm going to maintain my prediction. I'm a little worried about because another thing about these is that a couple of these middle guys that I was talking about, like as every team tries to have like the Jays, you have those 3 guys that are just above average. But the thing is that you know that Barrios, Bassett, and Gausman has logged all those innings in the past. A couple of these guys in Chicago haven't got up to that level. You know what you're always saying? Oh, we got to watch the pitch count in the arms. If they pitch that many, they're going to get tired. So could be interesting. And the big thing is they lost, what's his name? The Japanese guy or the Korean guy? That really hurt. If they had him,
Yamanaga?
Yeah, see, he's not playing right now.
He was stung by a long ball Wednesday.
Did he just come back?
Well, he just got activated.
No, he just got activated. Yeah. Okay, so that could be the strength.
That's a big coup.
Yeah, to get them all the way back because he was their number 1 starter, Cy Young candidate, preseason Cy Young candidate. But I'm sticking with Chicago to win the division still. You too?
Me too. Although the next team we're going to talk about, they've been coming up like Secretariat down the track. The Milwaukee Brewers, 49-39 record, 415 runs for, 358 against. That's a run differential of plus 57. And they were in a little bit of a hole in the early parts of the season as well. We thought they might be done, but they're coming along quite nicely here as the season continues. They don't have anyone that really jumps off the page offensively, but they have a balanced lineup that scores consistently. Great rotation. I think they just need to shore up the bullpen.
Do you realize that the Milwaukee Brewers, they've had 3 divisions in the last 5 years. They made the playoffs like 6 out of 7 years. I think the only one that's made the playoffs more is the Dodgers. Okay? Do you realize that right now that they're going to have trouble getting $100 million payroll and that this organization's been running like this for 7 years? You talk about Tampa Bay. Think about these guys in small market for a while and what they're doing. Like when you look at I was looking at the payrolls. I'm going to give you a note about that later. These guys are like, their development is like, did you ever hear of who's this Abner Arube guy at 23 years old coming in the lineup and suddenly, who is this guy? Smartest move they made was they signed that Chichiro guy who's having his breakout season. At that age for 8 years, they might sign this guy. And the arms that they keep developing, like look at, they've lost Hader and Devin Williams in the last 5 years, considered 2 of the top 10 closers in baseball. They got another guy coming up, and you see this Jacob Mizorowski guy at 6'7" now. He had a rough start his last time out, but he's 3-1, and they're doing like they did with Skeens last year. They brought him up now because contract control is. So what really surprises me about Milwaukee is this is 6 or 7 years. They're kind of like Tampa. Where do they get these arms? You got to give them the organization itself
100%.
a lot of credit, and they're in the thick of things now. I think they're going to make it. I think they're going to make it. They're going to be one of the wild cards. You know what I mean?
We'll see. We talked about a lot of competition there with like the Giants, the Padres.
Okay, but look at this, okay? They were supposed to have the Woodruff, Savelli, and this Corks guy preseason in their rotation. Where are these guys now? On the 60-day. And look at their rotation now. It's unbelievable. A bunch of young guys. I don't even, you know what I'm saying?
They got good rotation.
Peralta, he's doing fine. Quintana's holding up as the old guy. Trevor McGill is going to be another good closer, though. He could be the third line after having Devin Williams, because he was a great hold guy, and I think he's in top 10 in saves now in baseball, considering where Milwaukee was to save the year. So how these guys are doing it, I don't know. Contreras he's holding up there. He's one of those guys having a bounce back year. Hoskins is having a bounce back year. Yelich is having a bounce back year. So when you put all these factors together with the veteran experience, you think they're going to make the wild card?
Maybe.
Did I have them in the wild card? Did I pick them?
No, none of us did.
No.
Pick had them winning the division, though.
He had Milwaukee winning the division. They
did.
still can. But I'm going with Chicago, but I'm believing that they can. They're going to be one of the wild card teams, because I've also hearing they got a couple more guys down in the minors that are pitching good. So if all else fails, their trade deadline move might be
to trade for someone.
Because they could go for it. But look at where they're in the middle of the pack in money, bro. They barely break $100 million. And they blow my mind. You know what I mean?
Well, middle of the pack now with expanded playoffs, like it's very possible for you to make it consistently, which the Brewers have been doing.
Okay, so they're middle of the pack hitting. They're middle of the pack defensive team. They're middle of the pack pitching team. Combine it with
above
a little average.
Pitching,
above average. Put all that in. With the expanded playoffs, they have the ability to get there every 7 years. Now, here's the deal when they get to the playoffs. You know what their deal is when they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, they never go far.
They haven't won nothing. Of all those times there, they haven't even got to an ALCS. They haven't even, like, all those great numbers of the last 7 years and shit. But I'm saying I'm all on Milwaukee bandwagon here. I think that they're going to make it. I love that kid. Cherry on. Look with the contract. That's going to be gold in 3 or 4 years. That guy's going to be so grossly underpaid. But
we'll see.
Well, it's a smart thing to do. Which brings us to our next team.
St. Louis Cardinals. Same offensive notes as the Brew Crew, if you ask me, but the pitching not quite up to snuff as Milwaukee. Now looking at them in the standings, 47-42, 406 runs for, 382 against. That's a run differential plus 24. And they lost their last 4 games in a row, by the way.
Well, that's why I'm starting to think, how did they get here and where are they going? They got some production and they got an okay staff, but their consistent rotation leads off with Sonny Gray. However,
well, hasn't been bad. He's been very good, actually.
He's been okay. And this kid, Liberatore, and Hesley's one of the best closers in the game. Got to remember that. But a couple of these guys they got there, they did the same thing. Like they were, you know how you develop them for a year in the bullpen and then you make them starters? So St. Louis has done that, and it's looking like I didn't expect them. Did you expect them to contend?
No.
Okay, so they've never had 2 losing seasons in a row since 94-95. But a little thing came up about St. Louis. They're one of the most storied franchises and a rabid fan base.
Most World Series of any National League team, right? Something
like that. But here's a little tidbit I didn't know about. People don't understand that the baseball is very, very regional now. Okay, you know what I mean? So they have a regional, one of their big money supplies is your TV contract. That's why the Jays are killing it with Sportsnet, Roger Holnett Yards. They used to belong to a group called Diamond Sports doing their broadcasts. Well, they went bankrupt.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I was doing that when doing a little research. Now, that has to have some effect on your payroll, doesn't it? Because who's picked that money up lately? So usually St. Louis was always a team that go out there and took a swing at big guys. But notice in the last year or so, they haven't. And
they've kept the TV deal?
I think that they got to redo their TV deal so they can recoup some of that revenue. Because if your revenue source went bankrupt, that's got to have an effect on your bottom line, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the St. Louis Cardinal regional rights. I mean, there's going to be a lineup of guys who want to get that, though, right?
I'm hoping so, but as we speak, because of they get this is how to put it. ESPN broadcast games, right?
Okay.
But everybody gets a piece of that pie. So say everyone gets their...
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so now when you get down to yours, like the Detroit Tiger Network, say they get 20% revenue from that, and the Jays get 50% from their TV revenues. St. Louis's revenues have to go down, and they're bidding for. Look, Apple's involved now. Who else? So the new team bidding for St. Louis, is it worth the money for them to bid that high to take it, considering these other entities are picking at them? So they're in a precarious place in the TV game. But as you said, I think they should be okay because they are a storied franchise.
Yeah. I mean, St. Louis is a baseball town at the end of the day.
Oh, huge baseball town. So are you going to say they're going to be a buyer or a seller at the deadline?
Oh, they're going to be sellers.
After losing 3 straight to Pittsburgh? They're average everywhere. I want to just throw out Wilson Contreras for having the career he's having. He's still back there doing his thing for St. Louis.
With Milwaukee, you mean?
Milwaukee?
Wilson Contreras?
No, isn't that his name? The Contreras, the catcher guy on St. Louis. What's his name? That guy's been there forever.
Oh, there's two. The first baseman there in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the move they made.
Yeah.
The smart move. He was the catcher. I mean, how long's he caught? He's gone to the first base. His freaking things are there, but they got this kid named Ivan Herrera who they've developed, and now he looks like he's going to be the Contreras of the future. That's the St. Louis way of building teams. That was my point. I got it written down here. I read it backwards. But now Contreras is free to play first base. His production's gone up, less wear and tear, and they got a kid there whose defensive metrics are just as fine. Now, he's not hitting quite as good, but
no one on this team seems to be hitting that great.
No production. That's why they're not going to make it. Goodbye.
Ready to move it to the next team?
Certainly am. And this is the team that excites me the most.
The Cincinnati Reds, just a half game back of the Cardinals, 46-42. 413 runs scored, 375 against, plus 38 run differential, actually better than the Cardinals.
Yes.
The thing I like about this team is my notes load. De La Cruz, unreal, leading a mostly mediocre group of hitters. But I basically have the same pitching notes as the Cardinals, where it's a group that leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay, so they've made some mistakes here, but they're bringing up Chase Burns already, the kid? And just he got
desperation.
Yeah, but his welcome to the league hasn't been good. 2 starts, 5 in the 3rd inning. He's got, but that's what I'm getting at. Okay. First of all, I said, would they have the Terry Francona bump?
Which they have.
Okay. I'm not sure if they're going to be a buyer or a seller because of another team of not having the contract money that a lot of other teams have, being smallest market Cincinnati. But look they have this Hunter Green guy. He had to go on the DL. That hurt them. Who was the other guy? Trevino went on the DL. If they had all of these pitchers and some of them might come back, they could have a shot to maybe jump over because their defensive metrics are insane. They got a bunch of gazelles out there. You know what I mean?
They have a former favorite of ours playing the infield.
Who's that?
Espinal.
Oh yeah, Espinal. He's doing his there, but they got these prospects like this Marte guy. He's only played a few games, but look at his numbers so far. You know what I mean? These McLean. The Steer guy at first, that Fried in center field, they're all young. They're all 25, and they're not doing great, but they're getting the experience now.
Like I said before, De La Cruz is the only one that's hitting anywhere close to all-star level.
Oh, no kidding. But I mean, all these guys are a little below average with great D. Mm-hmm. So if they can just get a little bit more pitching, I think that down the stretch, if they all just sometimes you have that second half growth, blossom, whatever they call it, maybe this team could pull it. I'm saying that they're going to be the last wild card team.
Whoa.
I think they're going to
So you think they pass Milwaukee?
Yep. No, Milwaukee will be the first wild card team.
So 2 teams from the Central are making the wild card.
I think that could happen more because I think the Mets are in trouble. Why not?
Mets are in trouble?
Mets are in trouble, I think. They better. We'll talk about them next week unless things drastically improve. But that's baseball notes at the end. We'll get there.
I think
Cincinnati, with Terry Francona as the guy stirring the pot, they got a couple kids coming back. They got a couple, but if you look
this team's going to be sellers, Cruz. Sorry.
We'll see. We got a month to see. Look at them though. They're not crazy out of it, bro. They're really not. And they got a favorable
They're not
schedule
crazy
coming
in
up.
it either.
So who is?
I believe in the Mets more. I believe in the Giants more. I believe in the Padres more. I believe in the Brewers more.
I'm not believing in the Padres like I used to. And the only team that's going to sneak up there, I'd say, was San Francisco. I think they're going to be the horse comes around the track. But that's when we get to our All-Star thing. We review that. But if you look at it right now, I look at it. Here's my favorite number. They're only 4 games out in the loss column from the New York Mets. Wait a second. That's the New York Mets with the highest payroll in baseball compared to the Cincinnati Reds, who are bottom 5. 4 games up in the loss column with, 7 guys in your lineup are under 25?
A team that's going to be willing to spend at the deadline way more than the Reds?
That's true, but I'm saying they might be able to bring a couple guys up. We'll wait and see. But anyways, as you can tell, I'm high on Cincinnati.
I'm not.
Okay, I am.
And last and least here, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hey, Bob Nutting, sell the fucking team.
Thank you. Okay, is that what we're going to say? Well, McCutcheon's your best player.
A 38-year-old McCutcheon is their best offensive player.
But you know what? They do.
O'Neill Cruz doing his job. Probably their most productive.
Don't. Look, they got to. And you know what the biggest thing is? The story of Paul Skeens.
Oh, free Skeens. That's my headline here. Free Skeens. Pitching's not horrible, but their offense is disastrous. 38-51 record, 310 runs scored. That's abysmal. 345 against, like I said, which is actually very good. Best in their division, actually.
That's weird.
Very weird. Minus 35 differential. 7-3 in their last 10, though.
Won 6 in a row. No, they lost yesterday.
They lost last night.
Yeah, so they won 6 of 7. I just think that okay, we've said enough about Pittsburgh. We've said enough. God bless them. When I was a kid, they were one of my favorite teams, and I'm still going all seeing because the great Dave Parker. You probably see a lot of highlights of him in the last.
My
week.
mom brought him up the other day. Actually, she said she was a fan of his back in the day.
Did she?
Yeah.
Mom, good. Glad to hear that, Mrs. Milani. He was at one point, he might have been my favorite baseball player. Around 1979, I loved
the height of the Pirates.
The height of the Pirates. Yeah, he was great. I'm glad your mom brought him up. He was out. But that's what you think of Pittsburgh. Look at them now. What are they? Still got some cool uniforms.
They've been junk my entire life.
Yeah, I like to got some cool uniforms.
Oh, I love their uniforms.
Look great on retro days.
I have a Pirates hat, too, that I like.
There you go. Yeah. So, but anyways, that's enough talk about Pittsburgh. So let's have a little recap here. I'm thinking Milwaukee's going to get in, and I think Cincinnati can get in. So that means that's 3 teams from the Central. I better back
You're
up
nuts.
here. Yeah. Let me I just caught what I was saying there. Can we erase that part of the
What I was trying to warn you about.
I still think
I don't even know if one team can make it in as a wild card.
You're not liking Milwaukee?
Maybe, I'm saying.
I'm thinking they're veteran experience and they got enough pitching. They just got enough.
But the thing is, though, San Diego and San Fran in that other division.
I've seen San Diego. They're looking. No. They you know what? Their hitting is underrated. Way underrated. Half the guys are producing like they were supposed to be.
Who's got underrated hitting?
San Diego.
Yeah.
Way underrated. No, overrated hitting. Overrated. You see them hit lately?
That.
Go look at them. They're not hitting near as anyone thinks it is, and their pitching is
pretty good.
Look, the last 2 starters. Okay, but we already talked about them.
Yeah, so we'll move it to the AL Central, and we will begin with the team in first place right now. The Detroit Tigers, they sit first place in their division, like I just mentioned. 55-34 record, 448 runs scored, 348 against, a differential plus 100. If you ask me, they are the top World Series contender in the American League. The only team I really see challenging them in their current state is Houston. But I mean, that's still a while away. But this is a team that should walk to the World Series. Very solid rotation in pitching. Skubal could snag another Cy Young. Flaherty could be getting better results, but Olsen has been great. And Mai is a pleasant surprise. Deep hitting lineup. Green, Torkelson, and Torres hitting like all-stars.
Okay, so let's just say this. Did you know at the beginning of the season that they were going to say that the American League Central might be one of the most competitive divisions in baseball?
Wah, 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 wah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that immensely. Do you know that 4 out of 5 teams in the division have a minus differential?
4 of the 5 teams are under 500.
Oh, okay. Okay, so everybody knows my love for the Detroit Tigers. Let's just cut to the chase on that. However, as I look at this division and what they've got to deal with, if Detroit plays 500 ball for the rest of the season,
they're in.
Yeah, 92 games won the division last year. If they went 500 for the rest of the year, which I think they're going to do a little better now.
It'd be around 94 wins?
91.
Yeah.
If they were 500 for the rest of the way. I don't see any of those teams in this division winning 90 games. So what is it? The thing is that Detroit is interesting in the growth process, which the difference between them and Baltimore. You didn't realize they had the same timeline because they were both shit and they were both drafting. Mm-hmm. And Baltimore, nobody expected, we'll talk about that next week. Baltimore is one of the biggest disappointments in baseball. We do know that. However, the Tigers have did it a little bit differently in that their pitching is on the front end of development, whereas Baltimore had more of the hitting. However, those young players on Detroit have starting to blossom. Mm-hmm. The Carpenters, the Riley Greens, the Torkelsons, these guys are all coming up. Now, the greatest thing is they picked up Gable Torres, and this guy's been a revelation this year. And Javier Baez, they moved him to the outfield, and he's starting to swing the bat like...
He's a whole new man out there.
It's unbelievable, and he was starting to be an Albatross contract. You can't take him out of this lineup right now.
No.
So when you have to combine with these guys that are blossoming, with some veteran guys that have been there, the Detroit lineup is pretty damn solid. You know what I mean? And look at like Torkelson. You mentioned all those guys. They've just come out of nowhere. AJ Finch is another guy.
Hinch
gives you another guy who's proven he's a bump manager. You know, he got chased out of town in Houston. We know why. Greatest pickup. He sat around a year and went to Detroit. So he must have looked at what was going around there, because now look at, within 2 years, he made a playoff. He's won a series, and now he's a number one contender to go to the World Series this year. The people in Detroit must be losing their mind. Add on to the fact that they've lost Jackson Jobe. He's on the 60-day, and this guy was supposed to be one of their breakout starters. Now, this Olsen kid that pitched last night for 6, he's coming around. They got Struble at the top. Mize is pitching great. They should be worried about Flaherty because you see his last 3 outings. So the only thing about the Tigers is they're safe in their division, because I don't think they'd be as suspect as the Yankees are if you have a couple of bad series and all of a sudden everyone's breathing down your neck. If they have a couple of bad series, they're going to still be people in rearview mirrored. So they're very comfortable to do that, but I hope they don't get comfortable in their shoes, because there's still, 70 games to go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But are they the number one, are they the best team in baseball?
Best team in the American League, for sure.
Best team. I'll tell you, some people down in Texas might give you some argument.
With Houston? They got to get some bats, though, before I anoint them the best in the AL.
They got bats coming out of their ass like they usually do.
No, but Houston, their strength has been pitching this year.
Mostly, yeah. But the young guys if you look at their line,
they've been decent, but no one like blowing off the page. Yeah, exactly.
But they're in the first place. But that division's another
junk.
You know, the thing about Detroit too is their closer. They got that pitching. He's not even their closer. That what's his name? Besky guy. He's okay, but they've got these other guys that are holding it down. That Holder and Montero is pitching, and I forget the starter's name, because Hench really, if you go back to his Houston days before he got Hader and all that, he's a bullpen master. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when you look at the Detroit guys, there's nobody with 1,000 saves, but they all got there's few saves. They got the number one guy. Well, who's got 18 saves? I think they do. What's his name on Detroit? But all the other guys
Vesta's got 14.
Yeah, and he came on along now. Yeah, that's their number one guy. But if you look at the other guy in their holes, they got 3 or 4 guys they could put out in high leverage situations that could do the job. And I think that's what's going to help the back end of their bull. Because look at last night. Great ball game. They beat Cleveland 2-1 or 3-2. And both starters went 6 or 7 innings. I'm saying Detroit to win the division. I hope they win the World Series. I hope they play Toronto. No, don't play Toronto in the playoffs. The Crews, just no. I wouldn't even watch.
Get out of town.
I would die.
Well, we know you'd wear your Montreal Canadiens jersey.
That's what I would do. I would exactly. I just hit me. Oh, hey, BOH, if you're listening, I will not watch.
Let's get to the playoffs first.
Okay, yes.
Let's get to the playoffs first.
Okay. Mr. Fool's Gold. Okay. Next in the division.
Mr. Fool's Gold is my father.
Oh really?
Second place in the division at 42-46. We have the Minnesota Twins. 363 runs for, 380 against. So again, not bad pitching wise. But I mean, you look at this team. Buxton is really the only hitter of note. Yet, I mean, they're still driving in more runs than some other teams in this division. Pitching all over the board. But Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez have been very good in the rotation.
This is a fall back season for Minnesota.
Seems like every year, the last 10 years has been like a
Okay,
fallback
so if you
season
look
for them.
at you look at last year, okay, at the All-Star break, Kansas City was knocking at the door, fighting with Cleveland to get to that next level. Minnesota was chasing their angles. Detroit came down the outside and raced into the playoffs, which led everyone to believe these teams are looking forward. Big step back from Minnesota, man. Like, how many games they won
basically
last
every
year?
other team except for the Tigers have had a step back this year.
Exactly. They only won 82 games this year. Minnesota's going to be hard.
Last year, you mean.
Last year. They're going to be hard pressed to win 82 games this year. When you think about it, they're in like.
Well, as it stands, they're going to be like what, a 75 win team?
About a 75 win team, which mean like one step forward and two steps back. Like I said, and you know what? The really crazy thing is, all those other years they would be saying, if Buxton could be the guy, if Buxton could be the guy. Because remember, we had all those weird years, injuries, personal shit, and all that. Now he's having a bit of a breakout year.
The rest of the team's not
Falls
there.
down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, here's another thing. What do you call their rotation?
Not great.
Okay, so let's.
Like I said, Lopez and Ryan have been like doing their part, but everyone else has been not good.
Okay, so yeah, but still, he's only pitched 60 innings. They got a couple guys over in 90. Joe Ryan was supposed to be better. Remember last year, he was supposed to be a guy that might be.
I think he's been great.
8-4. But
but sub-3 ERA. His whip is .87.
Yeah, okay.
108 strikeouts.
Yeah,
I think he's been great.
That's true. Maybe it's Olber's the guy that was supposed to be standing out too, and he's not. He's got 92 innings inning, but his numbers are.
His ERA is above 5 there, brother.
That's why I should write my notes down a little bit backwards what I did, but yeah, the other way around, because those guys were supposed to be two front-end starters.
And one of them has pulled up his pants, the other one hasn't.
Brutal. Just brutal. And look at the other guys here's the thing about when we discuss Fool's Gold, which could be leading towards the name of the show, Who's Fool's Gold, but all those guys that take a step forward one year and they say, okay, the player's going to get better. Sometimes they regress.
Oh, of course.
Well, Minnesota has had the regression situation this year, and it's only matched by the Kansas City Royals. Okay, that's how I look at it.
So they're third place in the division. I guess we'll get right into them.
Yeah, we had Minnesota and Kansas City doing nothing this year, didn't we?
Yeah. So, you were the only one that picked Detroit to win the division. First off,
thank you.
I
don't think I had anybody else from that division making the playoffs, did I?
You had one other team. We'll get to them.
Cleveland?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Next up is I believe Kansas City's in third place right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Kansas City, you look at them, 42-47 record, 299 runs scored, yikes, 327 runs against. That's actually, like, really good, but, I mean, if you can't hit, that's a big problem.
Can't hit shit.
Great pitching, but the hitting has been so bad besides Witt and Garcia.
I don't even think their pitching is anything to write home about.
They're stopping guys. They have the least runs allowed in their entire division.
In their division.
Still.
That's not. Look at the other team, except for Detroit. Who else is in that division? Because Chicago's in that division. Stop it.
Oh, hold on. In the American League so far, they have the least runs against in the American League.
In the American League?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Now, I know their pitching's been, I did not think it was that solid, but
second. Third. The only teams that have allowed less are Houston and Texas.
Yeah, the Texas.
Still, you're third in your department.
But that must mean your hitting's really bad because they've regressed. Now,
their hitting's terrible.
I do not think that anybody should be picking on Bobby Witt because I still think he's having a relatively decent season. Now,
he's having a great season, hitting 293. OPS is 836. He's got 11 home runs, 30 doubles already.
Okay, so let's just say this, and you're going to scream at me so loud, it's going to be insane. Okay, his OPS is probably close to 100 points better than a guy on the Toronto Blue Jays, but Bo's got 20 some RBI, 20 some doubles. He's got more home runs. He's got more RBIs. He's got more runs scored. So there's got to be saying something about
Bobby Witt's got more runs scored than Bichette.
I think it's more, but not by many.
How many runs scored does Bichette have?
I don't know. I think he's around 40.
Bobby Witt's at 53.
But everything else, their metrics are about the same. Now, I would rather have Bobby Witt's defense.
Thank you very much.
We're going to go there. But
Bobby Witt steals bases, too.
Okay, Bo can at times.
Nah, not consistently. Bobby Witt's stolen 24 already, and he's 80% on stolen bases.
Oh, no. I would rather have, let's cut to the chase. I'd rather have Bobby Witt than Bo Bichette.
Not even a conversation.
Okay, but before you go too
No,
far.
but.
You can't be kicking. This is just saying, when you look at some of the numbers and some of the metrics, when we're kicking guys to the curb, you don't have to kick them to the curb that hard because they're substantial. That's so. And Bobby Witt is the gold standard on shortstops in the
majors.
In the majors, all right? So we're comparing Bo to him. Come on. But Bo's got some attributes that are
I'm not even going to listen to this conversation. This is
just
ridiculous.
saying,
We're talking about Kansas City.
Okay, yeah. Well, we had to talk about something because what rest of the team? They're another team that regressed. What did they have last year? They made one of the biggest jumps, 30-some games in wins last year. What do they do now? They're going to fall behind. How many games did they win
Which is a shame given their pitching staff, which is so great.
Yeah, it's solid, but you know what? They've blown some leads too.
They have 3 starters with an ERA under 3.
Their bullpen at times has been the other problem. Even though they've blown some leads. If you look at some of their things, they've lost some leads, and they can't win the tight games.
They got a great closer, too.
Oh, premier closer. But, I mean, getting to him, and I think their record in one-run games is something that they're not happy with. Kind of like the Jays last year.
You can't score.
You can't score. But they won 86 games last year. You think they're winning 86 this year?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Another 75-win team.
71. Goodbye. Kansas City was nice talking about you. Bobby Witt, we'll see you in the All-Star game, and that pitching staff better go. And where are they going to get the money? Where are they going to get the money to even bring guys in? And who wants to play in Kansas City?
Well, if you're getting paid.
That's
the whole thing.
Okay, but here. And
I think they want to build it up before they bring in free agents, obviously, though.
When's the last time that Kansas City brought in a front end? Guy.
Okay, well, you're putting the cart before the horse here. You gotta get a good team, and then it's like, then you get like some extra money. Then you can bring in a guy.
Okay, listen. The smartest thing they
Kansas
did
City
is
is a baseball town.
It is. I agree. Bottom line is, I agree with this. They got lucky when they decided.
You agree with yourself? That's great.
Sometimes I don't look in the mirror too often, though. But
don't say that. You're a handsome man.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyways, they gave Bobby Witt the contract in advance. That was very, very smart. You know what I mean? Like, very, very, like, what he's signed for the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. It's like that Chichiro contract, and so he will be an underpaid player. That's the only smart thing Kansas City's done. I know they're going to be able to keep all these starters, too, because every time they're starters, and they traded away Singer.
Yeah.
So that hurt, too. So do you think they're going to have the money to keep all these guys in a couple of years? Because when you talk about their pitching, 3 of these guys are under 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? 3 of these guys are under 30.
We'll see.
Guess what's going to happen? They're going to say, I want some dinero.
By the way, I had Kansas City winning this. Me and Pick had Kansas City winning this division.
Yeah, Pick, you got that Kansas City. Did I make them the playoffs? No,
you didn't.
I didn't. See, and I didn't have Minnesota either.
But you and Pick both had the Cleveland Guardians as a wild card team.
We're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Which brings us to...
Yeah, so Cleveland is sitting at 40-46, 310 runs scored, 363 against. That's a minus 53 differential. Looking at this team up and down their lineup, I mean, Quan and Ramirez, basically they're only 2 guys that are hitting in the entire lineup, and Quan hasn't even been that great this year.
He's been pretty good, but not as good as last year, and I still love the guy. At 5'8", 170, I'll take him every day.
And I mean, the rotation's mid, good bullpen, though, which is really the thing keeping them in the race.
Okay, so what is their run differential?
Minus 53.
That's what I'm saying. Minus 53 now. I was minus 52 when I wrote this down. So what happens? These guys are making the playoffs every other year. So guess what year this is?
The fallback year?
The fallback year. I should have noticed that. Well, over my research, I've noticed, look at Cleveland. Oh, made the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs. Made the playoffs, oh, didn't make, and this is the year. Isn't that how weird how teams do that? But if you look at it, okay, so they're not going to win 92 games again. Their biggest problem is injuries. When you look at their rotation and shit, a lot of their guys got hurt.
Their biggest problem is hitting.
Because some of the guys aren't in the lineup that they thought they were going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Their hitting lineup's been relatively healthy, though.
Okay. First of all, Bo Naylor, hasn't been the guy that they thought he was going to be. Lane Thomas, he's starting to pick it up. Not near of anything that
They've both been bad.
Okay, so right there. Ramirez has been solid.
Ramirez has been incredible. He's been an all-star.
Oh, he's just great. He's got Hall of Fame potential. They picked up Carlos Santana, and nothing wrong with his bat. He should have been able to add
He's
to
been okay.
He's been okay, but look at all the other guys around him. This Brian Rocchio guy, this guy was supposed to be, here we go, production from shortstop, and he's going to be this junk, garbage. Who do they have DHing? You? Come on. And look at, here's what's really crazy, okay? They're supposed to have a rotation with Gavin Williams. Where's he?
His ERA he's been actually like one of the, he's been okay.
Okay.
He's been okay.
Okay.
Not the worst in the rotation.
Ben Lively got hurt.
He was their best one.
Gone. Okay, what happened to Tristan McKenzie? Probably in the minors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nowhere to be seen.
How about Joey Cantillo? He's a guy that has stepped up a bit.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Fourth or fifth starter, right?
He's only started one game this year, though.
Because he just came out from the minors, but he was supposed to be something. So that's supposed to be your rotation. How did that work out?
Not great.
So I'm saying that they're done like dinner, and I'm really sad for him because I thought with the pickup of Santana and the young guys coming along and Lively being a new starter, like it looked like they were on they're Cleveland, right? But didn't they get rid of Francona?
Yeah, they did. Well, he left.
But left, yeah, okay. But in any event, I'm sorry, I'm not picking Cleveland to go there. We're not going to really say anything about the Chicago team because we'll be wasting time. But
well, hold on. They're 29-59, the White Sox, 17 games back, 297 runs scored, 386 against, -89 differential. Just pathetic. Maybe some good pitching depth, but that's it.
And people are going to be coming poaching as soon as they possibly can. So as we end up on this division thing, and we're going to talk about it, the ML Central, AL Central. From this point of view, the only person making the playoffs in this team is Tigers.
Yeah.
Who else?
No, that's it.
Nobody else is making it. And it's sad because Cleveland won't be there, which will mean when we're talking about all-star break and stuff, when we're saying who are going to be those teams that make the wild card from the American League, it's going to be quite interesting. Because next...
Well, it looks like it's going to be 2 from the East.
Maybe 3.
I'm not there yet.
Anyways, we talk about the AL East and the NL East next week.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for baseball?
Yeah, we're trying to develop something where we say.
I don't think we have time.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say 2 things to end the thing that I'm yelling about to give us think about some thought about this. When you're talking about baseball and free agents and all that kind of nonsense, top 6 payrolls in Major League Baseball are all firmly in playoff positions as we speak, which includes the Toronto Blue Jays. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Top 6, number 5 payroll in baseball. And top 6 teams are firmly in the playoffs. Here's the great thing that blows my mind about baseball real quick. The Dodgers and the Mets are the only team over $300 million.
Oh, it makes sense.
Do you know what the Jays payroll, the Tampa Bay payroll is?
Tampa Bay?
Yeah, you know what the payroll is?
What, like 80?
87. Isn't that just the craziest thing about baseball? And what, Tampa Bay's 3 or 4 games in the last column behind those 2 teams? Wow.
Well, also the difference between AL and NL is...
I agree. I don't know what they would be doing if they'd be in the NL, but that's just something you will be thinking about. And one more thing I want to say about baseball. Can you bring back when announcing, or has pitching got that diluted, we never get excited about the matchups anymore? Remember last week when I mentioned it?
We've talked about the problem with pitching. It starts at a grassroots level. These guys are way too concerned with velo and spin rate. And guys are throwers. They're not pitchers anymore.
Okay, but you know when I look in the paper and used to see back in the day, Verlander against Scherzer. I'm watching that game tonight. When I look down the matchups now, I'm going, who's doing that for me? And why don't they promote the good ones when they do? And I've been really pissed off since that doubleheader and they didn't let Skeens go against Grubel. I'm still not over that. But that's my baseball.
Hopefully in the All-Star game.
Yes, well, we'll see.
And that's it for baseball?
Yes, it is.
All right, so we'll move it from Major League Baseball to one of our favorites here at the House That Happens. The NHL free agent frenzy has opened, and we are less than a year before McJesus is a Leaf.
Listen, I'm saying crazy ass shit, and you can say stuff like that?
It's going to happen.
So you're going to say that McDavid's going to be in Toronto
July
before
1st.
Shea?
Yeah, 100%.
That's insane. I love it. I absolutely
I thought you were on this page.
I'm not having issues with it, but I'm saying the boys want to come home. Toronto's a great city.
Well, as long as
Shea's
Shea
kind of
wins in
Hamilton.
OKC, okay, I get that. But as long as Shea's winning in OKC, he's not moving.
Okay. Keep talking for a second.
You think McDavid's going to win in Edmonton? No.
No, especially with the money that they're not going to be spending right now.
Great. They said that not into the microphone. Matthew Nye signed a 7-year deal, $7.75 per with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's $406.5 total. Great contract for the Leafs, getting him locked down for long term.
I thought that was
for good cap it as well.
That's the best, second best contract that Toronto got.
Second best, okay.
Tavares is the best.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Okay,
yeah.
but that's great there.
Right after that, the Leafs traded a third-round pick in 2027 to Utah for Matias Maselli. This is the guy that we talked about in contention for the Team Finland job. I think he's going to be a nice pickup for that top six.
You think so?
Yeah. Scored 56 points a couple years ago, but they got a lot less ice time last year. He's going to get the chance for a little bit more with the Maple Leafs. I think this could be a good low-key signing. Obviously, the Leafs are going to have to play a little bit of money ball with Marner out the door.
I'm going to have to put down his value because I'm trying to count up. I'm trying to get to 100 points, okay? If you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to get.
Doesn't quite work like that.
Well, I'm trying to be nice to you guys. You lost 100 points.
You got to do it by committee.
That's so how many he's going to give you?
But then you got to look, Matthews going to get more touches. Nylander's going to get more touches. Tavares is going to get more touches. Nyes is going to get more touches. Got to do it by committee. Hockey's a team sport, is it not?
Yes. McDavid coming to Toronto?
Yes, he is.
I can't believe he said that, but that's great.
It's obvious to me, so I don't know.
There's no contract. Okay, continue, sorry.
He's not going to.
The contract negotiations have
non-existent with Edmonton. Wow. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Claude Giroux signing a 1-year deal worth $2 million to stay in Ottawa. However, he's getting a lot of bonuses, or he can make a lot of bonuses. So $250,000 in bonuses for 20, 30, 60 games played. If he makes the playoffs with at least 50 games played, that's another $250,000. $500,000 bonuses for winning round 1. He gets $250,000 if they win round 2, and then $500,000 each for winning the 3rd and 4th round, so winning the Stanley Cup. Morgan Geekie signing a 6-year, $5.5 per contract with the Bruins. Red Wings trade Vladimir Tarasenko to Minnesota for future considerations. I thought that was a little bit of an interesting one.
What's that?
Tarasenko from Detroit to Minnesota for future considerations.
I didn't get that one at all.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Detroit clears some cap space, and then
that's the
Minnesota.
That's
obviously, the Parise, Suter, death years off their buyouts are off the books, so they have a lot of cap space. They weaponized it. I think that's a good move. Bringing a Russian to play with Kaprizov.
Okay.
What is next? Vegas trades Nick Cage. He was rumored to be in a Marner signing trade. Obviously, it didn't happen. He goes to Nashville for Jeremy Lauzon and Colton Sisson. So Vegas getting a little bit of depth there.
That didn't move the needle at my house.
Habs trade Caden Primo to Carolina for a 2026 round 7 pick. I bet you were happy about that one.
Well, I was going to take the used glove. I thought we were okay. But we made an interesting other move. I'm going to talk
We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Okay. But yeah, okay. That was nice, dear.
Kasperi Kapanen signing 1 year, $1.3 million to stay in Edmonton. I thought that was a good move by them.
I thought it was a great move because I thought that because they need a few guys because they're scoring and stuff, you know.
To play in their bottom 6.
Their bottom 6, so they can't let everything go, and they got one more shot with McDavid, so they better keep around people that are familiar, right? When's Hyman's timetable? He'll be back by the start of the season, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm having cigars on the holiday. Is that a bad thing?
Alexander Romanov, one of your favorite sons, an 8-year, $6.25 per year extension to stick in Long Island. Okay,
I got that. That's a trend this year, though. When we get to the end of that, I'll bring something up that I find quite interesting. But yeah, that's a trend. He stayed a little bit high on money, though, eh? But they had the money.
Exactly.
They had the money.
And then, of course, the big one here, Aaron Ekblad, Brad Marchand, all signed to stay in Florida. Ekblad signing an 8-year deal worth only $6.1 million per. Marchand signing a 6-year deal, $5.25 per. Would not have given him a 6-year deal if I was the Leafs.
Neither would I. But
okay. However, Florida is over $2 million over the cap right now, and they still need a 7th D.
Yeah, well, they're going to do that. We're going to talk about those signings at the end, my opinion on how that works. So keep going down the board at stuff there. That's amazing that Florida pulled this off.
It's incredible.
But we'll talk about the timing at the end of when we're at the end of the segment to get where I'm at.
Florida also gets their backup goalie Tarasov signed 1-year deal, $1.05 per. And then of course,
I think that's a great signing because do they have a farm of goalies in Florida right now?
Well, they traded for this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. But anyways, they know what they're doing because Bob This kid's got potential. And they got to have someone behind Bob. But Bob's got a couple years left, don't you think? One more year on his contract.
I think he's got one more
with a player option.
No, there's no options in the
NHL.
Options? No. I think this is his last year.
Okay.
Or he's got another year, 1 or 2 years left. Either way. After that, we get to July 1st now. Leafs pull off the sign-in trade with Marner. They trade him to Vegas for Nicholas Roy. Marner signing an 8-year deal, $12 million per. What do you make of that?
They sent Roy here to kill the tampering.
Yes, I agree.
That's all that went down. They had to throw in a player so everyone will go nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Because the rumor is that Vegas had been talking to Marner's people for the last 2 years.
I don't believe it's 2 years, but obviously someone's
because that's when the conversation started to change, so it adds up.
Okay, you're a Leaf guy and you're pissed, so I'll give you the benefit of a doubt there. But
I'm happy we got something back. Someone that could be a good third-line center.
He could be. That's what I'm saying.
Could play the wing, too.
No, he's very versatile, and a bigger guy. He's
got a bit of a scoring touch.
Yeah, and like a bigger guy. He's going to go in the corner and break eggs. You know what I'm saying? He's that kind of guy. But I'm saying the number one reason they got that guy, as we are all saying, is that because Elliot Freeman was coming down the outside of the track with the tampering thing. He was beating that horse, and he's got a lot of info, and he's probably a lot of right. But it's dead. It's out of the water, and all the other owners go, great. Glad that's out of the way. Derek Roy, you were a sacrificial lamb, but a good one.
Nick Roy.
But a good sacrificial lamb. When you think about it.
That's
my opinion on it. Do you agree?
Under team control for 2 more years.
And under team, everything said here, Toronto, forget the tampering. Says, come on. Old boys club.
Sure.
Old boys club. Okay, let's keep going. We'll talk about Marner in a bit.
You don't want to talk about it now?
No, when we get to the end of everything.
Okay. Oilers trade Victor Arvidsson to Boston for a round 5 pick in 2027. The Habs trade controversial D Logan Mayo to St. Louis.
Let's get back to Arvidsson. That one caught me off guard. Isn't that taking away a little bit from Edmonton's depth? Or is it just
but he had trouble making the lineup, especially deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, like he got banged around. Because last year he was much better. He was much more noticeable.
Yeah.
So are they getting him at a higher value? No, they're only getting a 5th rounder for him, right?
Clearing up the cap space,
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Habs trade controversial defenseman Logan Mayo to St. Louis for Zach Bolduc. The Habs get their number 2 center by the looks of it.
Well,
St. Louis fans are pissed about this.
I was going to bring that up. Did you hear? Because you know what I think it was? It got so, every time he got in the lineup, people were cracking off in Montreal. And I had to be affecting his game, especially being in that market. I hated to see him go because, I was a big Logan. The guy's 6'4". Remember, he's a good.
Has problems in his own end, though.
He's still young. He's only, 22, 23? Yeah. So I'm saying St. Louis has a knack for developing defensemen. That's one of their things. So if Logan Mayo one day makes an all-star game, I will not be surprised. I'm sorry to let him go, but you don't give people second chances. This isn't America. The backlash in St. Louis was way larger than I thought.
Well, and also people are pissed about losing Bolduc because he's a good prospect.
Yes, agreed. But that could be very good for us in the long run, but it could also be very good for St. Louis. Let's wait and see.
We'll see. I mean, the one problem for Montreal, though, is now your top 2 centers are both small.
Gee, you know what I think about that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I won't go there. What's he, 5'10"?
He's listed as 6 foot. But we know the way hockey heights are measured.
He had lead shoes on that day.
Yeah.
It's kicked him up a bit. He ain't no 6 feet. I seen him.
Like Marner's no 6 foot.
Marner's about 6.
He looks 5'11".
So he's my height. He's not your height. Okay, continue.
Edmonton signs Evan Bouchard to a 4-year extension, 10.5 per.
Thank God the cap's going up.
Yeah, you had to pay him.
Yeah, I had to pay him. But don't you think that's a little rich for his blood? But look at his age.
Well, where are they paying Nurse? $9.25? So
is that theory going to go to hell now that you got to have, because the cap's going up, you'll be able to have more than one guy with $10 million and win a Stanley Cup?
I mean, do we think Edmonton's winning the Stanley Cup this year?
No.
Okay, then.
But I'm just saying, that's the word around, and we'll get to that.
It's going to happen eventually.
Has to.
Okay. Kuzmenko signing a 1-year, $4.3 million deal to stay in L.A.
Another one of those. Laurent
signing a 3-year extension, $1.35 per to stay in Toronto. I thought that was an interesting one and a good cap hit.
Yeah, I think so too. And he can still. They got flexibility with him in the lineup. So yeah.
Ivan Provorov, a 7-year extension, $8.5 per with Columbus, locking down a big deal.
Who's that?
Provorov.
Thought that was an interesting little bit of money. They had money. Do you think they overpaid for him a bit?
I think he's one of the better defensemen in the league. Now you got him and Werenski 1-2.
Okay. Oh, I think it was an upgrade. I just looked at the money and went, ooh, for Columbus? Got to make a move eventually.
They got to spend.
Okay.
Patrick Kane signing a 1-year deal worth $3 million to stay in Detroit. I thought that was an interesting move.
I thought it was a crazy-ass move. That guy's still getting $3 million. What's Dave's getting in Winnipeg?
He can make up to, well, his base is 2, but then he could make up to 5 in bonuses.
Okay. Kane's got some bonuses in there too. No, just straight $3 million?
Straight
good,
3.
Great for him.
I think that's a good deal.
I do too.
Detroit's got some cap space, made some use of it.
Yep.
Connor Garland, Thatcher Demko, and Brock Besser all signing long-term deals, or at least Garland and Besser signing long-term deals to stay in Vancouver. Garland's a 6x6, Demko 3 years by 8.5, and Besser a 7-year deal worth 7.25. I
thought those were all solid if they're going to maintain the base of their team, don't you? Because maybe that was just an aberration last year because Demko...
There's work to do there, though. They don't have a number 2 center.
No, but Demko was talking about... And they're all in with Pettersson, eh? They say if the dressing room's going to change, they're all in. But anyways, Demko was on TV talking this week, and he's of the belief that they stubbed their toes. He wouldn't reveal. He was very open that, yes, we had locker room problems, and yes, we had injury problems, but we were a year away from being a contender for the Jack Adams, and we fell down. He says if you keep...
Jack Adams.
I mean, not Jack Adams. What is it? Best team in the league?
President's Trophy?
President's Trophy, yeah. President's Trophy. And they were 1 year away from contending for that. So I don't think they're going to make the jump that they are because they got a new coach and a lot of new things going on.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing this team's going to make the playoffs.
Okay. Gotcha.
Tony DeAngelo signing a 1-year deal with the Islanders. Logan Stankoven signing a great deal in Carolina. 8 years, only $6 million per. Big win there for the Hurricanes.
On who?
Logan Stankoven.
Yeah, I thought that was good too, but didn't they also give Ehlers money? But you're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was pretty good too, but the Canes are one of those teams that they had money, they just wanted to spend it, and they got to figure out a way not to get bitch slapped as hard as they are, because they're a consistent team, but what do they do when they get there?
It's the same story. You lose in the second or third round every year, this team.
Ooh, that hurts. Okay.
Jake Allen signing a 5-year extension worth $1.8 million per season to stay in New Jersey.
Good move on their part.
Christian Dvorak leaving Montreal, signing a 1-year deal with Philadelphia worth $5.4 million. I thought that was an interesting move.
I thought it was a little bit of an overpay. I'm glad we didn't pay him that much.
But just a 1-year deal, though.
Agreed. And Philadelphia's got the money this year to do it, and they need some veteran guys in their dressing room. A Tocchet guy. He's a Tocchet guy.
I think that's a pretty good move for them. Yep. Eklund on San Jose signing a 3-year extension worth $5.6 per. Your boy Gavrikov signing a 7-year deal worth $7 million per season to go to the New York Rangers.
That caught me off guard. What are the Rangers doing?
Well, I mean,
they needed an upgrade on D. I get it, but I thought they
after losing Trouba.
Yeah,
and they trade Keandre Miller. We'll get to that one soon.
Okay, I don't know. I think the Rangers got to do more than that. You know what I mean? They had trouble being tough in their back end, so he's a little bit tougher defenseman. He's going to mix it up.
I'm liking the moves that the Rangers are making.
Like on otherwise?
Just like they're looking like a team that could be back in the playoffs next year.
Oh, they're definitely angling to get back in the playoffs. No doubt about it. No doubt.
Who are they going to knock out? That's the big question.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Brown signing a 4-year deal worth $3 million per season to go to New Jersey, so him getting a big payday there.
I think that's a smart move because Jersey could use a little bit more help on the wing scoring-wise. So I think this is going to, in the way that he plays and the way that Jersey plays, I think we could see 30 goals out of him.
Maybe.
I'm thinking 30 because he'll get more ice time too.
We'll see who he plays with.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Tanner Jeannot signing a 5-year deal with the Boston Bruins worth $3.4 million per season. What are they doing?
Boston's just trying to be competitive. I think they're going through the cycle.
That's a reach, though.
That's huge reach. I couldn't believe the money. That's what caught me off guard.
I love that team's in our 5-year deal.
Yeah. Well, it's all about salary cap, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, but Boston doesn't look like they'll be back in the playoffs. Good. Pizzetta, the former half, going to Toronto, 2-year deal worth $787,000.
You know the only good thing about that? That guy's going to be so excited when he puts on a Leaf. His energy alone. He's an energy guy. I thought we could have used him a little bit better, but I think a fourth line in Toronto, he's going to become a fan favorite. I think.
We'll see. Joel Armia, another former Hab, going to LA, a 2-year deal worth $2.5 per. Montreal signs a backup goalie, Capo Kakinen, 1 year, $1.15. I thought that was a solid pickup.
Yes, I did too, considering where we're at. But I mean, we got 3 goalies now, so I thought it was for the money and his potential. I thought, hey, smart move. Mm-hmm.
Brandon Tanev signing a 3-year deal worth $2.5 per to go to Utah. Schmidt, hot off his Stanley Cup win, also going to Utah, 3-year deal, $3.5 per.
Okay, so
some good lower end of the lineup pickups for Utah.
okay, but they also got Vanacek, didn't they? From the Panthers. Could he be Stolar's part 2? As a goalie? They picked up a goalie, didn't they?
Who, Utah?
Yeah, didn't they? And they picked up the Hobie Baker guy.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, what's his name? How do you say it? Didn't you mention him?
No, I didn't.
Pernovich. They signed a Hobie. You know, Hobie Baker, defenseman coming in the NHL. There's been a good thing. So Utah's doing some crazy ass shit to get your attention real quick. You know, and their team.
I'm not sure they'll be in the playoffs, but they could be like knocking on the door. Yeah,
they're going to compete. I thought they made some great moves. I mean, at least they're trying, right?
Yeah. Corey Perry is signing a 1-year, $2 million deal to go to the LA Kings.
That was a weird one.
They are just signing a bunch of former Oilers there. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yes,
Ken Holland doing his thing, getting his guys.
Yep.
Perbix leaving Tampa Bay to go to Nashville, 2-year deal worth $2.75 per. JVR signing a 1-year, $1 million deal to go to Detroit.
When we get those deals, I love those guys. Like Corey Perry, how do you say his name?
Van Riemsdyk.
Guys like that, they've been consistent third, fourth line guys. All these, they continue their career on just on their work ethic alone. Like, that's not a bad signing at his age at that money. I thought, hey, and how many teams has he been on now?
More than 3.
Good for him. Good for him. That's all I can say about that.
Good net front guy.
Yeah.
Anton Forsberg going to LA. They get their backup goalie 2-year deal worth $2.25.
I thought that was a great deal for LA with all their up and down goaltending situation.
And they also signed some defensemen. Cody Ceci, a 4-year deal worth $4.5 per.
Too much.
And Brian Dumoulin, 3-year deal, $4 million per. I don't know how
Too
they got
much.
that. Yeah, I don't know how they got that kind of money. I'm a little bit worried about LA's defense that way.
Look at those are overpayments, right? I mean, those guys are good 5th, 6th defenseman, maybe 4th.
They have 3 bottom pair of guys now between those two at Edmonton, though.
That's what I'm saying, and they paid him that much money?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I mean, I know you got Doughty, you got Mikey Anderson, and you got, who's the
but they gave up Gavrikov
there?
Gavrikov, yeah. So is that going to be...
Well, they have, what's the kid, though? The one you like?
Oh, yeah.
Brent Clark.
Yeah. So they could be there. I just think it's a veteran presence in doing that, but that's just crazy. Anyways, we'll see how it works out for them.
Alex Steves leaving the Leafs to go to Boston, 1-year deal, $850,000. Radek Faksa going back to Dallas, 3-year deal, $2 million per.
Interesting.
Jonathan Drouin going to the New York Islanders, 2-year deal, $4 million per season.
I thought that was one of the surprise signings.
Yeah, me too.
I thought he'd stay in Colorado as a protective situation. Maybe he's breaking out of his shell, but that's good money for him.
I think he had to take the money. I'm happy for him.
Well, I guess Colorado would never been able to pay him that.
No.
So he's getting $4 for 2 years, right? Wow.
So $8 million total.
Congratulations to him.
Tanner Pearson, 1 year, $1 million in Winnipeg. Another former Leaf, Nick Abruzzese, going to Tampa Bay, $775,000 on a 1-year deal. Pontus Holmberg also going to Tampa Bay. 2-year deals, $1.55 per.
I guess that's worth it for his type of. You liked him.
He has his moments.
Okay, so that was okay.
A little bit surprised that Tampa Bay picked him up. I guess they're right up against the cap, so.
And they need bangers because they're playing against Florida. Lars Eller got another mill.
Yeah, 1.25 with Ottawa.
Yep.
Matt Murray, former Leaf, 1 year, $1 million with Seattle.
Does not tell you what the goaltending situation is in the NHL. When Matt Murray got a contract, I was shocked. I thought he was going to pasture. $1 million? Why not?
Why not?
He's serviceable goaltender if you need him.
Alex Lyon, 2-year deal, 1.5 per with Buffalo.
Okay.
He was decent in stretches in Detroit, but I mean, he's a guy that needs to be part of a tandem. He's like a 1B kind of guy.
Yeah, got you. Could be interesting.
Nico Sturm, hot off a cup win, 2 years, $2 million per with Minnesota.
I thought that was a good little signing.
Thought so too. Kurashev, a guy that Chicago left untendered, going 1 year, $1.2 million with San Jose. Mm-hmm. A big contract here coming late down the stretch. Mikael Granlund going to Anaheim, 3-year deal, $7 million per. Good pickup for them.
Yeah, but
they have the cap space.
That's the reason that they got him. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, who's he going to play with? They got some kids.
They do.
Let's see what happens. They
were a good defensive team, and now they're shoring up the forward group a little bit between him and Chris Kreider.
Yeah.
Anaheim could be an interesting team next year.
Well, not only that, but you know, the bottom line is when you think about it, the Stars wouldn't have been able to pay him, and
well, he was a rental there.
Yeah, and they got Quinville behind the bench now.
Yes.
So he's looking to build type of players that he's looking for. So I think that he probably had to say about $7 million a year for 3 years. Ooh, thank God the cap went up.
And it will continue to go up.
Yep.
Rangers signed and traded Keandre Miller, 8-year deal, $7.5 per. to the Hurricanes, getting D prospects Scott Morrow, and then a first and second next year.
Kane should be a little bit worried about all those changes they made. They gave up Orlov and Burns on their defensive end. How do they replace those two guys?
Well, I mean, Orlov, he just got his replacement right now.
Okay, but Burns is old, but you know what I mean?
And they have Chatfield coming up, so I don't think it's going to be that.
Him.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
I think Carolina's going to be okay. Oilers signed Andrew Mangiapane to a 2-year deal, 3.6 per. I think that's a good pickup.
And I think it's good money for him.
Yeah.
Yep, good
absolutely.
money for him. Yep.
Puis Suter, 2-year deal, 4.125 to go to St. Louis, leaving Vancouver. That's maybe money that Vancouver should have given him, but I digress.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everything that Vancouver did to go forward, then they let this guy go.
Don't have a number 2 center.
That's what I'm saying. And he could have a better season where he's gone. That's decent money for him.
I agree.
Decent money.
Gustav Nyquist, 1 year, 3.25 deal.
Another guy
Winnipeg.
I thought was a little bit overpaid.
1 year deal, though.
Okay.
He'll factor into the second line there in Winnipeg. I think it's going to be a pretty good contract. Detroit signing another third liner from Winnipeg. Mason Appleton going there. 2-year deal, 2.9 per. Brent Burns signing a 1 year, $1 million deal with Colorado. I thought that was an interesting pickup.
Well, he's going for the cup. And I think that if he plays, if there's 6 defensemen,
yeah, exactly.
He's good for that team. You know, and that's what they need. And they got no room in the salary cap, or they're playing salary cap games out there in Colorado.
Basically.
So I don't know what they're doing. But
Nick Ehlers, as you alluded to before, a 6-year deal with Carolina, $8.5 million per season. Hurricanes still have over $10.5 million against the cap left to spend.
I know. So what are they going to do with that?
They're going to try and trade for another star. We'll see if it sticks this time.
They need someone to play with Ehlers. Going to be Kokamini?
If you ask me, they really need to find number 1 center. Because Aho, I think he's
not
more,
that guy to play with Ehlers.
He's a first-line winger, second-line center, I'd say.
I can't see the way they skate. Think about how about they skate and play. That's not. He's going to be playing with somebody else. I hope it works for him, but
hope so too.
Yeah, but that's a big contract for him. He got good money.
And the last bit of news: Glenn Galton, in as the head coach of the Dallas Stars, his actually second stint there was coached there from 2011 to 2013, where he missed the playoffs in both years. But obviously, a very different Dallas roster this time around.
Well, they're going to go for it. Like they're a Stanley Cup or bust team, as far as I'm concerned.
Their window may have closed.
Especially when let Buddy go that they couldn't even hold on to. But my take on all this is, and I've been listening a lot, what's going on here. Let's just go back 4 years ago to now, and the difference in the NHL with all the signings and the flat cap as opposed to we're letting everyone know we got a ton of money coming in. The team that was most handicapped by that right now, when you think about it in the history of the flat cap, is your Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, look at the situation they were at.
Tampa as well.
And Tampa. They're the two poster childs of that, even though Tampa Bay got that let's leave Kucherov sitting around for a while deal. But that was another story to be dealt with another day. I don't think that'll change. But it's so interesting because, that being said, that gets me to the point where Florida would never have been able to do this 3-4 years ago. It was 2021.
No, absolutely not.
Like, you guys had to let Hyman go. Like, if this was 4 years ago, Hyman would still be on your team. Like, signings like that couldn't be made just because it was a flat cap era. And now the cap is open up, and Toronto's already handcuffed because they gave those guys the money which they deserved.
It's okay. We're making space next year for McJesus.
We know he's coming. Okay, I'm going to say that. But don't you think that's an interesting way that the league has developed, which leads you to believe that if there's going to be a dynasty, it could be Florida. I think you have to. I know it's about the 3 wins and stuff, but a team to be constructed the way they have in the last 3 years, and look what they have going forward.
They're going to have to dump someone, though.
Oh, a couple years maybe.
Now, they're over the cap.
Oh, they'll take one
of
their 4th defensemen or somebody will suddenly disappear that we were not really going to be talking about right now.
I don't know.
I don't
think it's going to be a defenseman. I think it might be a guy like Rodriguez.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He might. Yeah, that's a prime guy to go. But
because he's making I think $3 million against the cap, and they're over by just over 2.
He's a prime prospect. The bottom
but still,
line. Yeah, solid player on the team. Okay, but I'm
on their second line.
I think Florida's playing for now because I'm going to say in 3 or 4 years they're going to burn. You're going to
look at the Marchand contract.
Oh, that, and I don't think
Bennett was I saying 3-year deal for Marchand to give him 6.
Okay, huh? Bennett got 8.
That I could see happening because he's prime age.
Okay, but
Marchand's 35?
37.
Yeah,
36. I think it's insane what they gave to him. But then again, when that's all going to come around, you're going to have Barkov coming again, Kachuk coming again. Seth Jones is good, but all these guys are going to come at the same time. Look at the length. I've looked on Puckpedia. Yeah. Look at their ages and look when they all.
Oh, I know.
They're gonna Florida. That's why they're going for it now. They're gonna have a nice little dynasty.
Yeah, because we talked about this like with the Tampa factor as well. Like how many times can you go to the finals before it catches up to you, right?
Exactly. But
Tampa went to 3. Florida's at 3 now, so we're gonna see if they can get that 4th. A little bit of fresh blood, I guess, there in the lineup, but that core 3 finals is 3 finals.
With those animals.
3 finals is 3 finals.
Are they the gold standard in the league?
I guess everybody's
mimicking.
So now.
Everybody's mimicking what they're doing. More cap space coming in the future. What's his name? The GM. I forget his name.
Bill Zito.
Who executive of the year? No doubt about it.
Agreed. And apparently he interviewed for the Edmonton job.
I know. Boo. What happened there? But in any event, it just goes to show you.
Edmonton's the old boys club. That's what happened there.
Oh, God. And look what happened. Hit a wall, too much drinking, whatever the case may be. But
could it be another rematch next year?
No.
But who else in the West really scares you?
I want to see them get on the ice because some of these teams made some permeations that make you go,
I know, because LA, like they made, I don't know. I don't see LA doing it.
Dallas is the one. Because they got the youngsters they still got some youngsters that could be getting better. They still got some guys that could rise up.
Is Gulleton the coach though?
That's the question. But I
lost a couple guys.
They got some kids. They got a little bit more depth than most people.
I don't
Remember
know.
that.
I'm not sold. Maybe Colorado.
Oh, Colorado's always going to be in the picture. And they've set themselves up there well. I don't see Edmonton because, first of all, if they got to spend the whole season talking about McDavid coming to Toronto, that distraction is going to be enough to screw them up. The Edmonton team, the fans alone will be livid all the time.
I mean, but if the team's winning, it's going to shut a lot of people up.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Anyways, that brings me to what I really wanted to say is about the flat cap is it's really sorry for you Toronto guys because it ended up being not only the fact that people should realize you were the only team that gave Florida a shot the last 2 years, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so now that you've done that, you're so frustrated with your losses that you had to let a 100-point guy go because you had to change
I think
the
it goes deeper than just losing to Florida this year, why Marner went.
Okay, you can put that in your back pocket. I'm an outsider looking at this as got no horse in the race and who cares what the Toronto Maple Leafs do. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate that in this day and age that you were smart enough to draft and develop guys of that caliber and you got caught in a scenario that you couldn't go forward because of the way that they were drafted, the years of contracts come up, and now you get the fresh opportunity to do it, and then you have all this dissension, got to get rid of Shanahan, got to do this, Pelly's now the man. I'm saying that I hope the Toronto Maple Leafs don't take a step back, but in my humble opinion, this cap thing and not being able to sign and letting a few other guys go over the years, Toronto will take a step back.
I don't think it's going to be as far as a step back as you think it is.
They're still a playoff team?
I think they're still contenders for the division.
Interesting. We'll see. We'll see. You know what I mean?
In my opinion, very early opinion of the top 3 in the Atlantic, Toronto, Florida, Ottawa.
Not Montreal?
I think you guys are still a step behind Ottawa. Too many questions, especially down the middle, up front in general, I should say, with Montreal and in net.
Who, us?
Yeah.
Well, Ottawa's got much better goaltending than us.
Allmark has been able to he's solid in the season.
Montembeault had a better season.
He slipped a little bit down the stretch, though, didn't you
I think it was a little bit like they got enough guys that they won't overplay him. We beat the hell out of him coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
Come on. He had and it was his first time having this much of a workload, which I think I'll be used to, which will be experience for next year. But come on, we beat that horse as hard as we could.
Well, that's still a problem.
Well, no. I
think you guys are still in the playoffs.
Oh, I do too. But I mean, if you're saying the Rangers are going to come back, who are they going to displace? And Yzerman's doing everything in his power to veer Detroit in there.
Detroit could be like that team that's like knocking
on the door.
Columbus as well. I can't forget about them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe New Jersey's the fallback team.
I think they had too many injuries last year. You hope it's Tampa Bay. Come on, cut to the chase on that.
I don't know.
I'm saying Jersey had too many injury problems last year that if they bring everybody back healthy, they should be fine.
Big if.
Yeah, but I mean, look, their main reason last year was injuries. The main reason when it got, and then they
that
looked
seems
terrible.
To be a trend with that team, though.
Well, they better change it really quick if they want to be competitive. But my last thing to say, are we just about done with hockey?
Yeah, well, you can say what you want.
Okay, so I'm going to just say this much. I've been living in this city for 40 years, and I've been watching hockey since I'm a kid. I just find it always peculiar that the one team that finds a way of having a problem with their superstars is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, give me a second to just look at this, okay? Frank Mahovlich. What happened to Frank? Basically run out of town. Why? Because the fans, and they said he was getting old and he did this and that. What did he go on to do? Scored 49 goals for the Detroit Red Wings, and then Montreal stole him at the trade deadline, and he got 2 Stanley Cups for the Montreal Canadiens. Next, Dave Keon. One of the most iconic guys.
That was owner versus player.
Still, whatever the case may be, how could you, now they're going to finally put a statue of Dave Keon down.
I mean, you saw that fake headline? That statue's been there for almost 10 years.
What, it's a Keon one?
Yes.
I don't even know if they had him one down there. I hope they did. But anyways,
you got to fact check those Facebook articles.
I didn't even see that.
The same thing for Sittler, too. I'm like, that's been there since
Sittler's there. No, Sittler's there.
They put them all there 2017 for the Centennial.
I don't remember Keon ever going up. I'm glad I'm there.
Yes, he is there.
Who else is there?
Bauer,
yeah.
Turk Broda, I think Charlie Conacher.
Conacher's there. Yeah,
Salming.
George Armstrong.
Yes, he's
George
there.
Armstrong, yeah. But any event, okay,
Horton.
Horton, he has to be there. I thought there was still that there. But now, after Keon, what happened? He had the Sittler issue, which you're going to say is again, but again, we found a way
that was owner versus player.
We got him out of town, too. Rick Vive. Now, we know Rick Vive had some internal problems later in life that we did not know about at the time.
Was Vive chased out of town, though? I don't think so.
Well, they said he was dead because he had those 350-goal seasons, and they beat the hell out of him, and they said, nah, we had enough. They threw him out of town like they used freaking
I don't know. Okay, I think you had a point with the Mahovlich one, maybe, but then, like, Sittler, Keon, and...
Still internal problems in Toronto. Why let those guys go? I think it's just, they're one of the teams go around all the National Hockey League, and you'll never see a team. Toronto is the poster child for iconic players that have made huge contributions.
But something had to change, though.
Well, maybe that's the case. Maybe. I'm just saying that me personally, you always knew I was a Marner guy. I'm going to miss walking his dog. Okay? So I'm just saying that. I hope Marner has a great career there. You have a lot to replace with that guy. I just believe, I'm seriously, I argued with some people, Toronto Maple Leafs fans at St. Louis last week. I told you they couldn't wait to see him go. And I said, okay, wait till you see who you're going to get to replace him. He's maybe top 10 in the league.
Do it by committee.
We're going to see.
It's a team game, Cruz.
Okay, I'm going to say...
This isn't tennis. This isn't golf.
Once upon a time...
I'm actually very excited for this Leaf season.
Good. I don't care. If you guys step back, it's good for my Habs, so I'm not giving a flying fuck about it.
For someone that doesn't care, you have a lot to say about it, which is funny.
I'm here every day. I have to see it. I watched what went on. The poor guy's car got stolen down the street from my house.
Oh, my God. You love bringing that up. I'm starting to think you like that happening.
I don't. I think it's awful. But
Then shut up.
There's a lot of other reasons why he left town, and I think it's a sad state of affairs. Good luck to Mitch Marner, and good luck to Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll leave it at that.
He got his money, and I'm excited to see how this Leaf season goes.
Okay.
It's like our version of the 2002 Oakland A's.
Oh,
Moneyball.
Okay. Here we go. We'll see.
I think the Leafs are still going to win the division.
We'll see.
Anything else for hockey?
No, we're good. Which brings us to that other mess that we call...
the NBA.
Oh, gee.
So the Toronto Raptors extend Jakob Poeltl to a 4-year deal worth $104 million.
I thought that was a good deal.
So just basically $26 million per. We mentioned the Shea deal, 4-year, $285. James Harden, 2-year, $81.5 million to stay with the Clippers. Portland.
Interesting. Don't you find that interesting? How much did he get? He got some good money still.
$40 million per.
Yeah, that's still good money. He's still a very productive player.
Huge part of that Clippers team this past year.
Yep.
Portland bought out DeAndre Ayton, then he signed with the Lakers 2 years, $16.6 million. So they finally get their center.
I'm going to put it this way. I don't care what anyone says. I really like DeAndre Ayton. Now, I heard he's got a bad rep in the dressing room, and he's got a lot of attitude. And if
I know you put him there with LeBron.
That's what I'm thinking, too. But one of the things I heard, which is true, man, if you can't get along with Chancey Billups, who can you not get along with? Okay, I heard that. I went, whoa, but I like DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix. I think at the end he got a bad deal. Then he went to Portland and got pissed. Couldn't get his car to the driveway because of the snow and a lot of silly things like that. But I think this is a key piece for the Lakers. And the guy's only 25, and he's a 15-10 guy. Whew. I say that all the distractors, be careful what you're saying.
Could be a huge piece here for the Lakers. D'Angelo Russell going to Dallas, 2-year deal worth $13 million. Another good piece for them.
I think it's excellent because Dallas is going to be a contender, and they need somebody to run show until Kyrie gets back in January. D'Angelo could be the guy, and he's played with AD before. So I think it's an excellent move. If he becomes a distributor and not a shooter. Because one of the
Yeah,
worst guys at shooting at the wrong time is, and I like the guy, one of the worst guys shooting at the wrong time in the game. But
keeping it going, Miles Turner to Milwaukee, 4-year deal, $107 million. The Bucks waived Damian Lillard's $113 million remaining to make space for that. Giannis, not so much a happy camper.
He hasn't got back from Greece yet, so we don't know. But anyways, I think this is one of the dirtiest moves ever made in the history of the NBA.
Dirtiest?
Yeah, how they treated Damian. Now, everyone says when he comes back from his injury, he's going to be great because he's going to have the money and he's going to have the freedom. But I said, man of his stature, to be disrespected like that, and it all goes back to injuries. If you see every team in the league, we'll get to that in a minute, injuries and the apron. It's all about injuries in the apron, but we'll get to that. I think that they should have kept him because now, what's Indiana? They won't have Halliburton for a year. They let one of their main, like everything, their Swiss thing go. They had cap room. Do you know that Indiana has not paid a luxury tax in 20 years? This was going to be
Makes sense.
Yeah, this is the first year they were going to do it because look at how far they've come in the last since 20 years. And what have they done? They've not completely, but the team's dismantled from last year. Do you think they have any chance of even being a contender to go back to where they were last year? No.
No, they got punt on this season.
That's what I'm saying. Out? Yeah, so that's what they're doing. So guess what? They won't have to pay the luxury tax for another year.
Save a little bit of cash.
Don't you want to win?
Well, I mean, you got to pick your spots.
Okay.
Jaren Jackson signing a 5-year, $240 million extension with the Grizzlies, keeping one of their better players there.
They had to do that. That's their Jared Jackson, who's the
Jackson's like the number 2 on that team.
And the third guy they got. But anyway, they got a little bit of a troika there. But Memphis has got to make a decision about Ja soon, too, so we're going to see where that goes.
Just keep him away from Toronto. I'm happy.
Stop it.
Sacramento trades Jonas Valanciunas to Denver for Dario Saric, so Denver getting a nice little backup center there for Jokic. I thought that was a very good move.
And they also picked up, they got Bruce Brown back and another guy because everyone's saying that Denver is just depth away from going to the finals again. And Jokic has been shooting his mouth off about, come on, guys, what are we going to do? Because, look, they got knocked out in the last 2 years against a team that went right to the conference finals or to the finals.
To the finals, yeah.
And not only that, it was due to the fact that what did they do? They ran out of gas. When you're running 6 guys or 7 guys for that intensity of playoffs for 2 months, they ran out of gas against SGA.
Do you think they bring back Westbrook?
That's the number one question. But at what money?
That's the question.
And it'll be 1 year if they do bring him back. But
what was he signed for last year? Like 8.5?
Yeah. Sign him for the same thing and bring him back.
Yeah, that could work.
Yep. Continue.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker going from Minnesota to Atlanta.
Interesting
Minnesota
move.
gets a 2027 second-round pick in cash.
Interesting move. What is Atlanta trying to do?
What are they ever trying to do?
Same thing they did the same thing 2 years away from 2 years?
I can't believe this team was in the conference finals a couple years ago.
Got hot.
Still.
But they dropped a couple guys like letting DeAndre Hunter go to Cleveland, a couple guys that were there.
One.
But and another guy, but those, if you think about that team, 2 of the key players on
they're gone.
They're gone. So I don't know what they're doing.
Anything else to add for basketball? I got one more thing, actually. Knicks hire former coach of the year Mike Brown as their head coach.
Well, they finally had to do something.
Pretty good pickup considering, I'd say.
And he's a solid coach. I don't think he should have got fired from his last job, but that was an LA thing. One of the things I want to say is that basketball has gotten to a point now where they're all happy about their ratings and how it's going, but the NBA has a lot of flaws in it in speaking about how you construct teams and where it's going in the future because they don't want dynasties. And obviously they got the parity because of the last 7 championships. Agreed? Mm-hmm. But this apron thing has become very interesting because this time last year, we were talking about the Celtics possibly having a dynasty because of the way that team was built. One Achilles injury, you got to write off the season. What did Boston do? $240 million they got rid of. All of a sudden, they're under the first cap. I mean, the first apron because you don't want to go into the second apron. Plus, they got new owners, so what are they going to do there? They got to dismantle. Indiana, now poster child. Achilles injury, what did they do? Dismantle so they don't have to pay the salary cap. Who else had
luxury tax?
Luxury tax. Who else had a Achilles injury that has affected their team? There's a third team. I got to think about it for a minute. But in any event, all 3 of these teams that were of contention now, that's how precarious it is in the NBA with this second thing because it's dollar for dollar, right? Once you get into the second apron. The second apron, dollar for dollar. So the ability to be able to sustain a dynasty in the NBA is wow. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of a drag because look at OKC and
OKC could find a way though.
Well, because they got all the draft choices. But even Memphis for a while had made the right picks and got the right guys there. And what ended up happening now? They had to let guys go because they don't know who they want to pay. So there should be a better way when you draft your own guys. Can't you keep 3, like make some rule, a new Larry Bird rule or something? Because what it's going to do is going to start pissing off the fans, don't you think?
I don't know. If it's more teams winning, though, then you're going to have more happy fan bases, theoretically.
I like dynasties, personally. I don't think they're going to come back. I just think that
Never know.
The NBA is in such a precarious position on keeping big teams in the spotlight the way they want them to get the ratings, and at the same time they're kicking that in the head with this heavy-duty freaking second apron taxes. So I don't know where it's going to go in the future. I'm not going to say that we can't be talking about it. Don't talk about OKC and a dynasty. Like, that's stupid. Like, everyone talking about, it gives you something to do in the offseason. No. Let's talk about the realistic possibility that other teams are very, very close.
We don't think OKC could be back in the final next year?
I think they got a legitimate chance, but look what happened around them with Houston. San Antonio, the enigma team of the league. Dallas. Look what Dallas did.
All those teams have a lot more questions to answer than OKC, though.
Okay, but when you put together their lineups and Denver, can't forget about Denver. They're going to be knocking on the door. So I'm thinking it's going to be hard, if not harder, for OKC to get back than it was this year. However,
Maybe.
1 year of experience really makes a difference because they've done there. So we'll have to. I hope they do. I really hope they do, but I'm not talking. Let's forget about Dynasty. Wait to see they get on the floor because the NBA with only a 12, 15-man roster thinks 3-player changes and you're freaking going to heaven. I don't think so.
I don't know. We'll see. OKC definitely the top contender for next year, though. Anything else for basketball?
Do you think Giannis is still a prospect for Toronto?
No.
Okay.
We'll move us over to our soccer report where TFC, huge news this week, agreed to mutual contract terminations with Lorenzo Insigne and Federico Bernardeschi.
What does that mean?
They gone.
Well, everybody in Toronto, those welcoming parties.
Well, they're probably getting some more money to play elsewhere too.
Agree, but do you think they're going to have a goodbye party? They had good welcoming parties.
No. Just kick their ass out the door.
Oh, okay.
The rumor is Insigne is going to Lazio and Bernardeschi is going to Bologna. So both pretty content. Good
they're
teams
going
in
to
Italy.
upgrades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
TFC unfortunately lost Thursday at New York City FC 3-1. Toronto's lone goal was an own goal at the 70th minute.
They're done for the year.
Oh, we know, but we got to report on them.
Yes, we do.
I
want them to get into that tournament in a few years.
Well, 3 years away, we got to contend, right?
Yep.
Every 4 years. So, and then we are versus Atlanta on next Saturday.
Good. We need a break from that misery.
Yes, we do. On to the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Canada played Guatemala in the quarterfinal in Minneapolis. That one went to penalties after 90 minutes. Unfortunately, Canada lost there, missing one of their shots.
I know. What a drag. Eh?
I hate that they go to penalties right away. No extra time in the Gold Cup. Thing like works like that too. The Copa America. I don't know why. I don't know why they do it like that.
Wear and tear on the players.
Bullshit. They do it for Euro. They do it for the Club World Cup.
I think that I wish they should do it for. Yeah, they shouldn't go right to give it some extra time.
Yeah, come on. You got a maximum like 3 knockout games, anyways. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them play.
Maybe they'll change it. Well, how that happens, we'll be an
so.
advocate of changing that.
I don't think it's going to change, but
it's a drag because everyone was looking forward to the U.S.-Canada final, eh? Damn.
Well, it would have been the semi.
Or the semi, yeah.
The USA beat Costa Rica 4-3 in penalties. The game was tied 2-2 after 90. Mexico beat Saudi Arabia 2-0. Honduras beat Panama 5-4 in pens after a 1-1 draw. In the semifinal, USA topped Guatemala 2-1. Mexico bested Honduras 1-0, leading up to setting up a USA-Mexico final tomorrow in Houston.
That's going to be a dogfight.
I think it will be too.
Those guys got no love. And Mexico used to like kicking the shit out of America all the time. And then America's rising up and saying, I don't think so anymore. Think they're going to be having some sharp elbows out there?
Oh, very much so.
I think it's going to be in a very aggressive game, in my opinion.
It will be an aggressive game.
Will it? Yes, I thought so. Yeah.
Moving it over to the FIFA Club World Cup. Messi,
I love this tournament.
Messi played PSG, his former squad, where they lost 4-0. Neves with the brace in that one. Bayern topped Flamengo 4-2. Harry Kane with 2 goals there. Inter lost 2-0 to Fluminense.
Wow, that was a surprise, eh?
but Brazil showing up in this tournament.
It sure is.
Goals in the 3rd and 93rd minute, so kind of bookending that match. Inter dominated possession, but only got 4 shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
Man City fell 4-3 to Al Hilal in extra time. They were drawn 2-2 after 90. Man City was pretty dominant, but Al Hilal just that clutch in extra time.
Mm-hmm.
Real
Madrid. Man City sat a lot of guys, though, didn't they?
They had a few guys out.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter because you lost.
But you lost, yeah. But
Real Madrid topped Juventus 1-0 after dominating them for 90 minutes. Dortmund bested Monterrey 2-1. Gurse with the brace. Dortmund wins despite being outshot on goal, and outpossessed in that one.
I'm going for Dortmund all the way.
In the quarterfinals, Fluminense won against Al Hilal 2-1. Hercules with the winner in the 70th minute. Palmeiras lost to Chelsea 2-1. Cole Palmer, the opening goal for Chelsea. Palmeiras scored an own goal in the 83rd minute, which decided the match.
I've seen that.
And then today we have PSG Bayern at noon and Madrid versus Dortmund at 4 o'clock.
That's going to be 2 good games. They should be on now, right? It's all on DAZN, right?
DAZN, yeah.
DAZN, yeah. Okay.
So PSG Bayern is going on right now as we speak. And the final 4 will all be in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So we already have Fluminense versus Chelsea. That's July 8th. And then July 9th, the next day, the winner of PSG Bayern will play the winner of Madrid Dortmund. And then the final is July 13th.
I think it's interesting that a Brazilian club team got this far, right?
Semifinals.
That's huge for them right now. You know what the interesting thing about this, and I was trying to talk to some people on the street. I'm so glad the MLS got a shot in this tournament. But come on, really, like, look, we're what? We're years away?
Yeah.
Years away. Like, come on. I was trying to explain to something. I'm saying this is like when Inter Miami played PSG. I was saying that's like the Windsor Spitfires playing the Florida Panthers.
It's not.
Come on, isn't it?
No, it's like you're taking like a club team from like England playing up against Florida.
Oh, whatever. I'm glad that they got there, and Messi made this tournament a huge splash. God bless him. Once a guy that moves the needle.
Yep, sure.
Okay, I give him that. But the bottom line is, I think this is a great tournament because I love the fact that from anywhere in the world, if you're a competitive club team, you get invited to this tournament, and look what Brazil has done. Yay.
Been very competitive.
I hope they win it all now, but I hope Dortmund does because they were supposed to be out of this a long time ago.
Says who?
I just heard a few guys on TV say that they're coming in the back door, but I thought they did good in Europe.
They're one of the top European teams.
That's what I said, too, but they said no, they wouldn't because they were bringing up PSG, Bayern, who else?
Real Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid, all those guys. They were putting them way out in front of them, so I guess they're here now.
Well, no, today by 6 o'clock.
They got a good draw. A lot of people said they got a good draw. Is that true?
Well, I mean, they're on the tough side of the bracket here.
That's what I thought. So I don't understand. So I'm not listening to those guys anymore. They confuse me. I just like Dortmund. Go Dortmund, and I like the fact that this Brazilian team, bunch of kids on that team too, eh?
Oh, sure.
Bunch of kids.
Their chance to get noticed here in this tournament, I guess, right?
Huge. I think their average age is 25 or something. One of the guys brought it up. Their average ages are under 27, but that's because a lot of Brazil's got more than 3 players.
Last piece of news for soccer. Striker Jonathan David, our Canadian boy, signed a long-term deal with Juventus.
Good money. Good money. Congratulations to him.
Going to be interesting to see what kind of a playing time he gets there with the big club.
How old is he now?
Oh, he's got to be like, what, mid-20s?
Mid-20s, yeah. Still got lots of time.
Yeah, whether or not he's going to be in the more Serie A or Champions League games, either way, it looks like he's going to get a shot there, them signing him long-term. Anything else for soccer?
Nope.
We'll move us over to Wimbledon,
where
it has been an upset city here.
Yes.
Zverev upset in round 1 by Arthur Rinderknecht in 5 sets. 3 sets went to tiebreaker with Zverev winning 2 of them. Medvedev lost his opening round bout in 4 sets to Bonzi.
Again.
Diallo, our Canadian boy, won his first round in straight sets over Altmaier. Felix won his first round match over Duckworth. Chapo unfortunately lost in the first round to Navone in 4 sets. Diallo got bounced to the next round, 5 sets to Fritz, so going the distance. Tiafoe lost round 2 in 4 sets to Nori. Felix lost.
He looked terrible.
Yeah, in that one.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Felix lost his round 2 versus Struff in 4 sets. Round 4, the biggest match here is going to be Alcaraz versus Rublev. Very much looking forward to that one.
Yes.
We could see Sinner Djokovic in the semifinals, which should be a lot of fun. Out of the men's draw, 19 seeded men lost in the first or second round, including 13 in the first.
That's just insane. I heard the rumor is this, and I never heard this years ago. They said, oh, what about their packed schedule? How many events are they playing? Whenever I hear this shit, I just turn it off. I'm tired of this. There's always got to make an excuse for this guy. But the one guy we got to talk about that lost in the first round, you know who it is. What's going on with this guy?
Which guy?
Zverev.
He's not that good. He always gets bounced in the slams.
Yeah, but no, he usually makes it far. Like, this is his worst... Since 2021, this is his worst.
Too bad, so sad.
Okay, because you're not a fan of him. I'm not saying it is either, but I don't like to see guys going up to the press conference and got to cry about it. Like, you lost, buddy. You had a rough day. Every time you get, like, he's been to how many semifinals and a couple finals? He can't get over.
He's just one Grand Slam final.
One Grand Slam final and about 6 semis, and just can't seem to get there. So what you got to do is tie your shoes, come back and do later. John McEnroe lost in the first round one time. Bjorn Borg lost in the first round one time. Everybody does it. Just tie your shoes later and come back. You know what I'm saying? Is there that much more pressure in 2025 than it was in 2005? I don't know. I'm not a tennis player, but come on, stop it.
I doubt it.
So now that we're talking about the men's bracket and what's left over, who do you think has the potential? Okay, Alcaraz has got to be. I think he's looked the best. I don't think Sinner's only lost.
Sinner hasn't dropped a set.
Hasn't dropped a set yet. So, but I mean that always happens, and Alcaraz has his crazy ass draws.
It's setting up to be a Sinner Alcaraz final, but I mean Djokovic is, I would say, the dark horse here.
I'm saying I'm going to say Shelton is also going to be a dark horse. That guy's playing great tennis. He's big, strong. He's gotten to the quarters and semis before. I think he's going to be something to deal with. I'm not saying he's going to win. The guy that's really driving me crazy, well, this is this French guy. He thinks he's already going to the finals. And when's an American gone to the finals at Wimbledon lately?
Never.
Not.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he's what? You're the great American hope. First win matches. He is in the third round. No, he won the third round. So he's now in the round of 16, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be quite interesting. But I still say it's going to boil down to Sinner and Alcaraz, which is going to be great. So even though we lost a lot of great players, there's some kids coming up that are going to throw some battles at him. I think it's more interesting on the women's side, to tell you the truth. But what are you saying? Are you still saying that you're calling Sinner? You're telling
I think it's going to be Sinner.
To win it all?
Yeah.
No upset. So we're going to go straight to Sinner Alcaraz to the final?
I think so.
I'm
hoping for a Sinner Djokovic semifinal as well.
I do too, but I'm looking for Shelton to be my guy to sneak in for the bigger upset and end up being in the semifinals.
We'll see.
Well, we're definitely going to see. Good player.
Moving over to the women's side.
Yep.
Our Canadian Carson Brandstein lost her first round to number 1 Sabalenka in straight sets. Layla won her first round in straight sets versus Klugman, and Boko won her first round straight sets versus Frech. Number 5, Zhang upset in round 1 to Siniakova. Number 3, Pegula upset in round 1 in straight sets to Kochereto. Number 2, Coco Gauff lost in round 1 to Diana Yastremska. Layla unfortunately lost in the second round in straight sets to Sigmund, and Boko also losing in the second round straight sets but to Baptista.
That was a good match, by the way. I watched it.
Paulini lost in the second round in 3 sets to Rakimova. Then Naomi Osaka lost in the third round. Won the first set, but blew it after that. 17 seeded women lost in the first or second rounds, including 10 in the first.
Okay, so now who do we have left over? Let's take a serious look here. Who's got?
It's Sabalenka's to lose.
100%. 100%. We got there. So who do you think is left over? I like I like the American. Swiatek's definitely going there. She's on a mission. Mm-hmm. She lost a set. She was so mad she blew the girl off the next two. Like, I never seen her like this. It was a German girl too who battled, but she lost the first set and it was like, how did I lose that? And the next two sets was 6-4, 6-4. So the other girl did show up, but she said, I'm going to win this. I think she's there. Let's not forget about Emma Navarro, who's playing this Andreeva girl. I think one of those two, better keep your eye on that match because they could be going farther. I like both of them. They've been playing very well. I don't think either one of them's lost a set or one of them's only lost one set. Swiatek is definitely somebody that we have to look at as a favorite to be there. But another sneaky girl is Samsonova. Is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
Another big hitting girl that maybe, every once in a while at Wimbledon, this is your time to get your attention because you're going to show the world that you have a future to go. This might be her future moment. Because look, she's playing nobody. There's two nobodies out there. She's got lucky in the draw. Then she'll have to go against Swiatek in the round of 16, I believe, or the round of 8. So it should be very interesting. But like you said, it's Sabalenka's to lose at this point.
I think so, too.
Definitely. Good tennis, by the way. There's some great, and even though those first round matches were losses, a lot of them went to 5 sets or to 3 sets. They were great battles. The quality of tennis has not been lacking.
No.
The only thing is weird is, and I already mentioned that out, is the curfew shit that screw up some matches, which I don't understand going, or when they close
That's Wimbledon for you.
And when the rain closes and they got to run inside and close the dome. So like tennis is such a momentum game that's stopping people for 10 minutes. I can't believe if you're a tennis player and run 10 minutes must seem like 3 days.
Eternity, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So this is the tournament I don't notice that in other tournaments.
Wimbledon is its own thing.
England, England, grass court since 18 whatever.
You got to wear all white.
Yes, the girls have been allowed to wear, like I'm noticing a lot of dark outfits underneath.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, let girls do whatever it is the girls got to do. So, some of those strict rules are insane. But I think everybody's wearing great white garb. So, it's all good. Well, by this time next week, I think we'll be talking about who's in the finals.
Yes, we will be.
Yes, because isn't tomorrow the day off? Because you have one day in Wimbledon's the day off. I think it's tomorrow.
Well, don't they stagger it like men's and women's?
No, I think they just have it. Everybody doesn't play one day.
Okay.
I think it's there.
Anything else for Wimbledon?
Go watch, people. We got some good shit going on. All
right. We'll move this over to the CFL where the Argos beat the Red Blacks in Ottawa for their first win on Sunday, 29-16. They outscored Ottawa 18-3 in the first half, had a defensive recovery touchdown and a field goal block touchdown in that one. Arbuckle was all right, 18 for 25, 269 yards, a touchdown interception led the team with 18 rushing yards. His only passing touchdown was to an offensive lineman, believe it or not.
Trick play.
But unfortunately, last night, they lost big versus Hamilton at home, 51-38. Arbuckle, 339 yards.
Garbage time.
2 touchdowns and an interception. Bo Levi Mitchell, 332 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ticats outrushed the Argos 145. That's been a big issue for the Argonauts rushing this year.
They look
Argos
like Swiss cheese out there.
Yeah.
They look like Swiss cheese. Now, let me just say this. I know it's a long season. They play 18 games, so they got 14 more to go. But
13.
13.
Okay. They're 1-4 now.
Okay, yeah, all right. So, anyways, when you look at that record, man, they got to win 3 games to get back 500. I know CFL teams can be 1 game under 500 and make the playoffs, but the Argos, you got to quit playing around. You know,
Chad Kelly's supposed to be back soon.
When?
July 17th.
Oh, July 17th?
We said this on the show last week.
Yeah, they're saying tentative last night in the game. Let's see him when he's on the field. You know what? Can Argos go back to their like old school blue on blue?
What is blue on blue?
Yeah, not the kind of blue on blue I'm looking for. I think that's the reason why they're looking. They're looking like Pussycats instead of Argonauts. They were terrible last night.
They won 2 Grey Cups looking like this.
I hate them. Leave that to the Blue Jays. I'm just getting adjusted to them wearing it. So now I'm going to try to do this. Like, who's the arbitrator of what looks good in Toronto? I don't know. People from other countries? I don't know. Just no.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm looking at it this way. They had one of the best looking jerseys ever in football. The original blue on blue with the big A on the helmet. That looked like these guys. This looks like designer yoga outfits. Come on. You know what I thought about when Detroit did that, the Lions? I was not happy when they decided to go to their designer shit either.
Don't they wear light blue as well?
No, they were, stop. We already went that.
Light blue.
Stop it. What's your sister's name? Alexandra, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, you keep telling him about what
Honolulu. I think she's
Honolulu.
colorblind, but okay.
Stop it. You keep telling him what Honolulu Blue is. Your brother does everything great. He just has color issues. That's all.
No, my color's fine.
Okay.
Next week, the Argos have a bye week.
Good. They may need it. You know what's interesting about this, though? The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, can we just say something about them? They're not going away.
No.
Like, look at the last 5 years. Best team in the CFL. Montreal tried to be close, but they're not quite. And the Alouettes are just playing fine. But Winnipeg looks like they're going to go for it. But you know who's going to say it matter? These Saskatchewan Roughriders
4-0 to start the season.
They and nobody to mess with. So it should be an interesting season in the West. I think the East, they all suck.
Story of the CFL. That's it for the league.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move this over to the WNBA. Few things to talk about here, namely Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier being named All-Star captains.
That was good.
Very deserving.
Yes, very much so.
Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia will all get teams by 2030, one by one. The league will be 18 teams by then. Cleveland in 28, Detroit in 29, and Philadelphia in 2030. Cleveland was actually an original WNBA city with the Rockers, horrible name, by the way.
Yes.
From 97 to 2003 before they folded. Detroit had the Detroit Shock from 98 to 2009. They relocated to Tulsa in 2010 and then to Dallas in 2016, where they are today.
So this is like taking a second shot for these cities, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Toronto, Temple, and Portland, who don't have a name yet, are joining next season.
You know what we should try to do? We should try to go to the inaugural game.
That's going to be expensive.
You think so?
Yeah.
Forget it.
We'll see. I'll look into it.
I think you're right. Even if we sat in the top, because where's the first game going to be?
Probably going to be at Scotiabank.
Because there'll be a sold out one. So, yeah, we'll go sit in the rafters. You know what I mean? I hope we do the same thing as, what was the new team this year?
Golden State.
Oh, yeah, Golden State. I hope we draft like them and get the same advantages because
Sure.
they're competitive already. I like that, okay?
Minnesota Lynx leading the way in the WNBA, a 15-2 record, a perfect 9-0 at home.
They're hunting for bear. They haven't forgotten last season, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone they see, not just Caitlin Clark, they bitch slap everybody. They're not a very nice team in a good way. Like they're all business every game. And then one game they lost. Did they lose to Caitlin Clark? Their one loss? I forget who it was. And the other one, I think
they have two losses.
Two losses, but I think the other one was to the Liberty, and that was a battle too.
They lost to Washington and they lost to Seattle.
Oh yeah, the new team.
No.
Their second year, aren't they?
Who? No, both those teams have been around for a long time.
I did not know that. In any event, the Lynx are serious. When I watch, and I've been watching a bit of the games. You know what's great about the WNBA? It feels like sometimes they're playing in the parking lot with no refs. Which isn't a bad thing.
Well, it can be bad when Caitlin Clark gets bashed in the face.
Okay, we can't say that. But, some of these teams now are just playing that way. And they go like, what's her name? The Lynx team and the Liberty team. Oh, what's a blonde girl on the Liberty? Anyway, we'll do a all-star report.
The shooter?
Yeah. These guys go into...
INSQ.
Oh, yeah, INSQ. These girls go into the paint. They go into like a running back going through the line of scrimmage, man. It is great. Now, when it's obvious contact, they put up the foul, but they really let the women go. In physicality, the NBA that seems to have bent a little bit to get back to some physicality. Not even close to WNBA. So if you want to go see girls going, and in the quality of the games now, there's certain teams, I'm not going to say, but I'll tell you by All-Star break, if you see these two teams on the ledger and they're coming on TV, next. Because that's the nature of the game.
That's the nature of sports.
The nature of sports. But there are some matchups right now in the WNBA, highly competitive, highly entertaining. Number one.
So what do you make of Vegas? So they're slipping.
I think they're going to be okay.
Hold on. The champions from 2 years ago, horrible loss, 81-54 at Indiana, who did not even have Caitlin Clark in the lineup.
You know what was one of those things? That was in Indiana. And you know what's happening in Indiana now? You've seen that the crowd for the Pacers, they're bringing that crowd to freaking the Fever.
That's good.
And it's excellent. But what happened was one of those games, when the snowball starts and you break it early, but it starts rolling? Oh, Vegas couldn't stop it rolling. And all those girls have... you know what I think is really good for them? Even though they won without Caitlin, is the fact that they've this is our girl. Don't pick on her, and we're going to show. We're ready at all times now. Good coaching. It was good. And by the way, the Fever won that cup. What do you call that cup? Like the midseason cup, like they have in the NBA.
Right.
They won that too. So hey, should be interesting. I don't think. What are they ranked? I think the Fever's ranked as the 5th best team in the league right now. Only because
they are the 6th best team.
Okay, they should be better.
But they've been missing Caitlin Clark for a lot of that time.
Yeah, and they're smart, too, because they said, she came back and then she tweaked. They said, no, sit a couple games. So I think she's going to sit to the All-Star break, which is, in 10 days?
Something like that.
So it should be okay. But anyways, it's good for the WNBA. There's a few other stars around the league. We're going to do a more important update when we get to halfway through the season and see how our predictions are holding up.
Anything else for the league?
No. Now let's get to the real meat of finally what I want to talk about.
All right, we'll move us over to Formula One. Lando winning the Austria Grand Prix from pole, his second win in his last 4 races. Yep. His teammate Piastri and Leclerc completing the podium. Hamilton 4, Russell 5, Lawson 6, Alonso 7, Bortoleto 8, getting his first points in F1.
Yep.
Hulkenberg 9th, all the way from 20th.
And he's doing good this year, isn't he?
He is.
Very good.
Ocon completes the points.
Okay, let's just start it with it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Did you see after the race when they talked to Pastrani and then they talked to Lando? Are these fuckers on the same team? What is?
Well, hold on. Here's the thing about. Hold on. In F1, your biggest rival's your teammate.
Yes and no.
Yes, it is. Your teammate is your biggest rival in F1. That's the way it is.
Okay.
Because you're always being compared to this guy because you're in the same machinery, same equipment, blah, 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 blah.
Got you.
So that's going to cause some tension, especially when you're in a title fight.
This
is the story of F1.
But this is ridiculous, bro. Look at Lando almost took him out on that one curve. If he hadn't turned,
that was some good driving.
Both good driving, and thank God they're seasoned out there. But I mean, if that was a rookie move, he missed by what, centimeters? If you had clipped him in, look at his car was damaged for the last 5 laps. The jerk on it. He did have a little bit of what was it? Front end steering problem that he nicked coming out of that and bouncing a bit. So I'm just saying this: McLaren's got the constructors' points. I think they can't be caught. You know what I mean?
Agree.
I don't think they can be caught. However, it made for a great race. It made for great drama. And made for a great.
It wasn't that great of a race, in my opinion. But
neither have I. Okay, so let's get to the chase. But I just thought it was insane that why would you look at how Ferrari went. Once they got their 2 wins, those guys stayed tight, made sure they went all the way around.
Well, they know they need every point that they can get.
So they played like a team. Lewis Hamilton did not try to chase down Leclerc. He stayed in his thing, and they stayed in his lane, and they got the points. Okay, so, and to their credit, McLaren got their points too. But doing it the way they're doing it, come on, everybody I know that talks about F1 starts laughing when you bring up McLaren. All the people that know it for years, because they're 5 miles ahead in the constructors' lead, and every race...
And 5 miles ahead on the track.
And in every race, what's the story? What did McLaren do stupid today? That's insane, you know what I mean? But if you win, you win. Zach Brown's still hanging out with our boy Kopitar. He's still drinking brown liquor, and he's happy. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing that happened, though, was I felt sorry for the kid. We'd be remiss if we didn't bring it up. The kid taking out my boy.
Yes, so Kimi Antonelli taking out Max in the first lap of the race.
Oh, bad. Boom.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad that, like we said, that Max was... sensible about it towards the end. Not at the moment.
No. Well, he knows this is going to be his future teammate that he's talking to.
That's... I don't know. Didn't you hear the Dog and Pony show yesterday from Christian Horner?
No, I know the rumors have been swirling out of control, and not only Christian Horner, but George Russell have been playing a damage control here.
Oh, well, Christian Horner had a lot to say. Russell's kind of about it. He's like, because he's not happy. He doesn't want to talk about it. But I mean, I'm not saying he's being arrogant about it, but I mean, he's like, fuck you about it. You know what I mean? His damage control is completely different than the damage control you hear from Christian Horner. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, a little bit of a different circumstance where if Red Bull's in danger of losing the Golden Goose.
Dun, 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 dun. He's such a great driver, isn't he? You know,
the best in the world.
Okay, you know, the other guys around there are really competing. Someone said to me the other day, actually 2 different people have said to me the other day that they do not expect to see Lewis Hamilton win another race in his career. I go, why not?
He won last year.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't he get one more shot? He's got a good car, right track, right place.
Exactly.
There's a few places that Ferrari's going to have advantages, and the next couple tracks.
I think Ferrari's going to have a strong second half, so I think the possibility is definitely going to be there.
That's why I thought it was absurd when I heard it, especially with their third, fourth finish in the race just passed. So obviously they had pace. They had great pace in practice. You know, the first practice, Lewis Hamilton had the hottest car. Mm-hmm. But what's practice?
Yeah, exactly.
That's practice. But the fact that he was out there, he had pace, tells you something. And Leclerc, he was in the top 5 after first practice. So it's got a lot to say for Ferrari.
They're for Silverstone for this weekend, right?
Yes.
Do you want to know who was on pole?
No, I'm going to watch it.
Ooh.
Oh, it should be good?
I think you'll be very happy with the results.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it. I wanted to turn it on, but I said, no, I'd rather sit around and watch it and see what's going on this afternoon. That's a good thing. Any event, before we leave F1.
Also, Sainz didn't even get off the start. He was having car
What's up with that?
That to restart the beginning of the race, the start of the race got delayed because of his car.
Yes, and not only that, he was having those issues in qualifying. Didn't they clean it up?
I don't know. Williams was weird. That great start, but all of a sudden now things are just... Nothing's going the way. Albon was also out of the race.
He didn't look that good. But when they were in qualifying, he was just about to make the third. Sainz was he was that close.
Just a horrible weekend.
Oh, then all of a sudden the car went out of commission. Like he was up to 7th going into Q3. And then, whoops, you out of it, bro. You out of it like that. Like I thought he was going to make it. He drove a great car. The car's not ready. Like Williams better do some tightening up. Get an extra bolt on or something because that was a terrible look for the team on the weekend, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
It was terrible. And I like Sainz too, but he's another guy. He's going to drift into Neverland unless he gets a better car. right?
Not going to happen.
So he's Neverland guy, right?
I think he's never going to win a championship. He's not that guy.
No, obviously. Is it
He was behind Leclerc every year in Mercedes or Ferrari, excuse me.
Yep. Has he got the guy with dad problems too?
Dad's around, but Dad's not running for the FIA president anymore.
Oh yeah, that's whatever's going on there.
So obviously we got Britain this weekend. Silverstone Grand
cool
Prix.
Track.
Love this track. Classic.
Cool track, yeah, classic, yep.
We got Belgium next, or
2 weeks.
2 weeks away, excuse me. Then Hungary the week after that. Then it's summer break.
You got it. We got a couple 3 to go. Love watching it. You know what it's like? It's like that's why I think Drive to Survive was so successful on Netflix, is because it's like a ongoing story. Next chapter, Silverstone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's cool that way.
Soap opera.
Soap opera, yeah, that's what it is. Long growing.
Anything else for Formula One?
No, not at all. But what have you been hearing more about the F1 movie?
I saw it.
I know, but what have you been hearing from the general public?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, just wondering. Just wondering.
I know I didn't like it, and I probably will never rewatch it again, honestly. So.
Wow. You're my critic. I told everyone. My favorite critic said, Cruz, wait till it comes on pay-per-view. I mean, wait till it comes on the network.
Exactly.
Don't spend your $30 at an IMAX.
Seems like the casuals like it, so take that for what you will.
Well, when you have a beautiful romantic comedy with a lead like Brad Pitt.
I hate that you're right about that. Let's just move it into the closing. We got a trivia question here. Thank you very much, Steven.
Steven, what do you think of my assessment of the F1 movie? Let me know. Mrs. Milani, I am a nice guy most of the time.
Most of the time. Ready for the question?
Sure.
We all know that the Florida Panthers have 3 of the top 5 draft picks from 2014 on their team, and Vegas now has 3 of the top 5 from 2015. Who are the last 3 teams to also have 3 of the top 5 draft picks from a draft class?
Chicago.
No. From one draft class?
From one draft class.
What would it have been?
How many years? Are we talking about any time?
Yeah, but they have to be from the same draft class.
And all 3 guys playing on that team?
Yeah.
Okay, they only had 2. Because I heard somebody saying something about this during the free agent frenzy. So is that where he got the idea for the question?
I guess.
I heard something about this, and Kane's name came up about top draft choices being on a team. But I didn't catch the end.
Detroit's going to have the 1 and 2 from 2007 this year.
Yeah.
Kane and Van Riemsdyk.
Yes. Okay. Let's look around the league. I think it's going to be a West Coast team. I think it's going to be Anaheim.
No.
Or San Jose.
Well, okay. San Jose had the 1 and 2 pick from 97, but I don't think they ever had any of the 3, 4, 5 picks.
Okay.
In that drafts.
This is a tough question.
This is a tough question.
Go look around the league for a minute. Boston, no. They got to have the top.
Hold on. I think you're thinking of it, making this more difficult on us. I think we got to think about it by the draft class. We got to think about like who went top 5 in each draft.
That's what I'm trying to think of now over the years. Now, did Seth Jones, what year he got drafted?
2013. So that was the McKinnon, Barkov.
So there's the Seth Jones and Barkov.
Yeah, but that's only 2. They never had Drouin, and they never had who would have been the number 5?
Ekblad?
No, that was a different draft class. That was 2014. That was the year after.
I'm getting warm with Florida.
I don't think it's Florida.
Tampa Bay?
No.
I think it's a West Coast team. Some tell me it's a West Coast team. It's going to be like a Dallas or Minnesota.
This is tough.
Damn right it is. But I had a pretty good lead with it because I had Seth Jones and Barkov. So that's 2. So I can't be there. Let's look around Montreal. Let's go quickly. Toronto, no. Boston, no.
How about Pittsburgh? They've had a lot of top 5 players.
Oh, because then you got Letang. What draft was in?
Top 5. He was a 2nd round pick.
Oh, was he?
Or 3rd round.
Okay, who was in the? Oh, Pittsburgh. Yes.
Let's even thinking like back to like the Lemieux days.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Who else was on there?
Because like
could be Montreal. No, never in the top draft. No.
Not likely.
Okay, I'm going to say that this was an amazingly excellent question. I got to know the answer. I'm going to be here for 2 days. That's a great question,
be like
Steven.
Colorado.
Colorado smells too. I think I'm just going to say it's a Western Conference team is the closest I can get, which means I got half the teams in the league.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Tampa Bay was there.
Stamkos, Bogosian, and Shen, 2008.
Oh, okay. Tampa was in there.
And Edmonton Oilers.
Goddamn, Nugent Hopkins and the boys.
Yes, Nugent Hopkins, Adam Larson, and Dylan Strome.
That was the one.
Or Ryan Strome.
That's the one
I forgot they had Strome, to be honest.
So that's the only two teams?
And then the Islanders from 97, Olli Jokinen, Roberto Luongo, and Eric Brewer.
All right. Should have known Tampa Bay. I smelled that. And Edmonton. I should have thought about that with the Nugent Hopkins. Should have thought. Great question. Outstanding. Do you log the questions?
I do not.
Oh, boo.
We can just listen to them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, Stephen, that's a great question. Great trivia question. That's a Jeopardy question.
That's insane for Jeopardy standards, I think.
It's a tough question, but we were dancing around it. Relatively, you know what I mean? But I thought it was going to be one of those other West Coast teams, but it wasn't. In any event, that was very, very informative, and I hope people like that because you always learn a little bit more what teams do and players go. But with that being said, hope everyone enjoyed their Canada Day week. The question is, what game are you going to be watching this week?
Ooh, a lot of choices.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be locked on the Blue Jays.
Oh, 100%. That's going to be one of the things there. I think the Liberty is playing somebody interesting on the WNBA. There's a marquee game in the WNBA. If I do watch it, I'll let you know next week.
All right. Anything else to add?
Now that we're at the end of the show, I hope you've come to the realization that the Toronto Blue Jays are a serious contender for the American League East as of July 5th, 2025.
Okay, well, let's see how they do if they make the playoffs.
Okay.
Remember, please give us a like, give us a comment, and please subscribe. It helps us so much. Thank you very much for listening.
Before I go, did we bring up our connection with a possible connection with Pinball Clemens? We did.
No.
Oh, we had a shout out last week to Troy and his son Max. In so doing, he was at an occasion where he was with Pinball Wizard and he introduced Pinball Clemens to our podcast. So apparently, Mr. Clemens is going to give us a listen, and he would be interested, perhaps maybe partaking, because we are Toronto-centric. Interesting.
All right.
So Troy, thank you for the connection.
Thank you very much, Troy. Thank you very much for listening once again. Hi, my name is Andrew Mullaney.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and what do?
We keep the vibe alive. Do you have a question? We'll answer it on the air. Send it to thehousethathappens@gmail.com. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podchaser, Boomplay, and SoundCloud. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and on X at House Happens.